But Prabjot should be here, no?
No.
For your mic, you see how that...
Oh yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Yep. Is that Javier?
When you pull this down, it's live. But when you put it up like that, it'll move. You gotta make sure that it's up from the corner here, not just the flex. No, there's no signal, but you just hear a little bit.
Okay.
So who's controlling the ticker? The match starts. Oh, yeah. He's here? Yeah, now it's working.
It's not here.
Is it not? Do you see the other matches now?
No.
No. Go to. But I think you're in Cricket Canada.
Yeah, I don't have any other app. Vivek Jacob. Very good afternoon to those of you joining us. We're coming to you live from Batsman Park in Brampton, Ontario. The BEDCL League team taking on the TDCA team, and this is the finals of the Central Championships. I am joined alongside by Vivek Jacob. He is a commentator today, but does some incredible stuff in terms of media with Cricket Canada and Boundaries North. Welcome, Vivek.
Yeah, expanding the portfolio today. We'll try and keep up with you. Thanks for having me. And excited to see the action for this final. Should be an exciting game on the cards.
So I can't hear him in my headset.
I can add it if you want. It helps.
It's a beautiful sunny day, a hot one as well, sitting at about 28 degrees Celsius. Had a lot of action the last few days. Teams from all over the region. Ontario going head to head against each other, of course, in preparation for the Nationals, which start next week. And the two opening batters for the BDCL are Ryan Patan, Wazi Tahir. They've both gotten off the mark. Always a good feeling. Now, what were you, a batter or bowler?
I was mainly a batter. You used to do some wicket keeping, and that was almost by necessity. We had
By necessity.
it was a pretty funny story. We had, as the bowler comes in.
That's a big one. And it's gone the distance. 6 runs, the first 6 of this game.
Beautiful drive over cover. Rayan Patan looking in good touch.
Not good.
No, it's too much of an echo.
Oh, okay.
He should be fresh. Didn't play the semis, so all geared up for this final. And that's got to be a good feeling coming off the bat like that.
Of course, playing in the GT20 as well recently, Rayan Patan. What an experience that must be as a player to be amongst some of the best from the world. It's a big swing and a miss, but it is also a little too far down that offside line. The umpire says it's a wide. Bhagwan Singh, the bowler, in the second over of the match.
Second over of the innings. 15 for no loss. As we await the second ball of the second over.
Again, he goes down the ground. And it's going to be a similar result. It's 6 more runs. Rayan Patan taking the attack to the bowlers.
Wasting no time here. Wants to put up a big score. Obviously, big score in the semis as well. Bat first. Get a score on the board. Put the pressure on the opposition. And I'm sure Bhagwan Singh is feeling it right now.
What are you thinking, Vivek? If you're the bowler, you've just gone for 2 maximums in the over. Still have 4 deliveries to come. What is the line that you're going to try and bowl to challenge Rayan Patan?
Well, I think he's struggling with that offside line a little bit right now. He's obviously bowled 2 wides in the over. And so maybe he's struggling a bit with that swing. And that's when you get a bit tentative. And that's where you kind of just give balls in the slot.
That's a better delivery. Extremely full. Trying to go for that Yorker. And from the expression of the wicketkeeper, might have been mighty close to that off stump.
And that's what you want to see when you let Rayan swing his arms like that. You're going to be in trouble. So pitch it up.
Yes,
Keep
avoid
him
that
guessing.
swinging arc.
Exactly. And so we'll see if he can get some consistency here with that length.
Down the leg side. There is protection in the deep. Long on keeps it to a single.
Had the protection, but again, probably a bit too short with that length. Allowed Rayan to swing once again. But at least the line, you had it going to long on, as opposed to a couple other deliveries that went to long off with no protection.
Looking to guide that. That's a surprising shot. There's a slip in place, and he's trying to guide that through the gap. Wasi Tahir.
No risk, no reward, I guess. And I guess just felt like he could split that gap. Not much of one, but he obviously backs himself.
I think that's a pretty dumb choice, to be honest. Flicked. And it's flicked well. That's actually 6 more runs to end the over.
And I think
What
that
a
was
shot
pretty good
that was.
That was a pretty good choice.
Better placement on that occasion. Straying a little bit too straight on that occasion, but the batter does well. Wasi says thank you so much. And a better shot, better choice of shots. That's the end of the second. 28 for no loss.
This is a fantastic start. And you look at that over, went a bit too far with the offside line early, and then seemed to just lose it a bit on that last ball going down the leg side and just easily getting flicked for 6.
So in case those of you are wondering what the Central T20 Championships are, 8 teams have come out to play, well, this final and try and be the winner of this tournament. BDCL and the TDCA teams have made it to the final. We have the Cricket Ontario Under-19 Stallions, Cricket Ontario Under-23 team as well, and that's positive to see some of those juniors in there coming and competing alongside the senior players.
That's exactly what you want to see, and give those young players a chance to see how they measure up, where they are in the game right now, where they can improve.
Start with a dot ball.
Bit of a last-second adjustment there from Rayan Patan. Looked like he wanted to go big and then realized the length wasn't quite there.
That's Mississauga. And that's
Ottawa Valley. Scarborough.
down the ground. And that's a shot and a half. He'll pick up a boundary, Ryan Patan. He's on fire this game.
Trying to change things up with some spin and take away from this big start, but that ball just, again, short of a length. Rayan gets a chance to free his arms. And the result is another boundary.
Gurpal Sidhu going for some runs. Some of the other teams in this tournament, Hamilton District Cricket League, Mississauga Cricket League, Ontario Valley, or Ottawa Valley, sorry. Scarborough League. Great to see all the representation of all the leagues in Ontario. That's dragged down. Played well. Good batting this. He's attacked the balls that were there to be put away. And if the ball's not quite there, they pick up the single. Smart batting.
Good composure. You know you've got a big start. You know you don't need to get carried away. If the ball's not there to be hit and you can find a single, get your partner the strike.
What a start this is as well. Ryan Patan, 19 off 9. Well bowled. And well adjusted by the batter. Wazi Tahir.
That's where you want to keep it. Keep them in 2 minds. Keep the batsman in 2 minds. Should I come forward? Should I play back? That's when you get that hesitation.
Guided. They pick up another single. Better length. Better line from the bowler. You should be so careful as a T20 bowler these days, don't you? You can't miss your line. You can't miss your leg. You miss a little bit and you pay for it.
And it's almost like you're just constantly in damage control and just trying to prevent runs more than, you know. Ideally in the power play, you want to come in targeting wickets. But after a start like this, you just desperately want to stem the flow. And right now, 1s and 2s are almost a win compared to all the boundaries we've seen so far.
And that's it. Sometimes it does come to just limiting the runs that you give. It's a cracker of an opening partnership so far, though. Ryan Patan on 22, Wazi on 12, going at incredible strike rates as well. 3 overs done, 36 for no loss.
And they're both pushing each other. It's not like one's, you know, intent on batting through or anything like that. You got one striking at 170, the other at 200. And we'll see how much further they can push each other.
And that's a tricky one, too, sometimes, because if you're stuck on the non-strikers for too long, sometimes you lose that concentration.
100%. And, you know, for the bowling side right now, that's probably something they can look to do, is maybe just slow down the game a bit, take their time, get the batters to just think a little bit more, pause, and maybe you create just a little bit of that lack of concentration that can bring you a wicket.
Who are the skippers? That's a wicket. They get the breakthrough here. Gurjot Gosal comes into the attack, and he has picked up a very important wicket here.
And going for the square cut, really well caught at point, and a desperately needed breakthrough when you look at this start that BDCL has got off to. A much needed relief for TDCA as they look to try and get back into this game.
Who did you say the captain was for the other team?
Parveen, but I don't know who caught it.
It's a good catch, good reaction. It was cracked into the cover region. Sometimes you have to deal with that spin as well. Thankfully, it's not too breezy. The ball might not be swinging as much out there. Nonetheless, the partnership has been broken. Wazi Tahir, the man who had a decent start, but wasn't meant to be today. Not the big one. 36 for 1.
Ball was definitely there to be hit. Just couldn't find enough of a gap. Again, sharply taken catch, well taken. And you need that. If you're trying to turn things around, you need something special in the field that can give you a bit of a spark. And a catch like that can certainly do that. Inspired bowling change.
The skipper Praveen Kumar for the BDCL going head to head against the skipper Anup Ravi from TDCA. Both players having played the GT20 recently. Praveen Kumar had a few decent outings with the bat as well. Anup Chiba, of course, had the gloves.
Now you make things interesting. New batter comes in. What's the approach? Do you stay aggressive, try to maintain this hot start? Do you try to keep one end composed and maybe let Rayan Patan continue to do what he's doing?
Oh, what? Oh, you know what? Screen's broken.
Yeah.
That's what's
Flighted delivery. Oh, and there's a big appeal. Looking for a caught behind. Umpire says not out, and you could see the batter so quick to say that it was his pad. The bat hit the pad. That's what that sound was.
That looked close. That certainly looked close.
Well, you know what? Out or not out, you're technically not supposed to tell the umpire.
That's for sure.
No signals. This is good bowling from Gurjot Gosal. Not often that you see balls left in a T20. You want to try and pick up singles at the very least. Sorry. Slip in place as well. Looking to pull it. And it's straight in the hands of the man at long on. Does not get the distance. And this is 2 wickets in this over. Dilrup Singh, he goes for a duck.
And that's the pressure of dot balls. You look at this format, everyone's looking to score quickly. We were asking the question, hey, does the new batter come in and take their time? Obviously felt the pressure of that good line and length that Gosal had found. And ends up skying one straight down Long On's throat. And now you've got a bit of pressure. And now you even look at Rayan Patan. He's got to think things over as well. You've lost 2 wickets in the over. You've got this great start. now you might need to rethink and consolidate.
Well, this is the pressure of dot balls, isn't it? Once you see a few dot balls build, you really have to be patient sometimes as a batter. You have to understand that runs will come. If someone's bowling well, you might have to see them off. Nonetheless, this has been a very good over.
Momentum shifts so quickly in this game. And you look at the way Gosal found that perfect line and length. And he just kept at it. There was no time wasted. It was just one ball coming in after the other, giving no time to think.
And spinners do that so well. They don't allow the batters to think. I mean, there's nothing more frustrating for a spinner than the ball getting lost as it makes its way around back to you. You just want to get through those 6 deliveries nice and quick. Don't allow for the batters to settle.
Exactly. When you lose that momentum, you want to slow things down. You want to compose yourself. But when you're riding that wave, you want to keep things going as quickly as possible and not give the other side a chance to recover.
Short delivery. He's lucky to get away with that one. He's quick through the air as well.
Mm-hmm. But automatically now, all of a sudden, even a ball that maybe should be getting hit gets approached with a bit more tentativeness because of the 2 quick wickets and because of that added respect that you automatically give the bowler when they've just taken 2. 36 for 2 after 4 overs. A much needed over for TDCA to get back on track. And a maiden at that to take the 2 wickets.
Not often you bowl wicket maidens. Not often you bowl a double wicket maiden.
In the power play.
In the power play. A very good over for the T&D side, or TDCA side.
And this is where I think things get really interesting. What is Rayan Patan's approach going to be now? Coming off a double wicket maiden. He's seen his opening partner and the number 3 go back. 22 off 11. Does he change his approach?
Bhagwan Singh comes back into the attack. And this is where the concentration comes into play. Rayan Patan's been at the non-strikers for a whole over now.
Mm-hmm. Great point.
It doesn't look like it's stopping him much.
I was just going to say, I think we got our answer on what Rayan Patan's approach is going to be.
He picks up another boundary, and he continues the attack.
And again, Bhagwan Singh just struggling with his line, struggling with his length. Rayan Patan getting one in the slot where he can free his arms in that arc. And it's another boundary for him.
Skied high up in the air, and it lands in no man's land. When it's going your way, it's really going your way.
Indeed it is, and probably a little too short for that shot. And that's why he got the elevation he did, but not quite the distance. But he'll be happy he got less distance than he hoped for, and that's why it landed well short of the fielder. We'll see the psyche now bowling to a new batter for Bhagwan Singh as well. Maybe just freshen things up for him.
Straight down the leg side. It'll be a wide. You'll have to be careful here. The TDCA side got a dangerous Rayan Patan out in the middle. It's going at the strike rate of 207. Of course, still early days. Still in the power play.
And coming off the double wicket maiden, you want to back that up as a teammate and put in a good over yourself. That's better.
Smart batting. And with that, Rakshit Chabra is off the mark.
in general, when you look at Bhagwan's couple overs, his best balls have been full pitch deliveries. And he's struggled to find that short of a length delivery. And that's where it's ended up being right in the slot, and he's got to avoid that.
Just be a dot ball.
And again, when it's pitched up, he's doing all right.
Two players in the deep. Of course, power play overs. Got a deep extra cover and a long off. No timing. Bottom of the bat. Ryan Patan still picks up the single.
I think it's a smart field. You know that Bhagwan's kind of found his best stuff when he's pitched it up. And if it's a little shorter, the ball's coming straight back at you, so why not just have the protection straight on?
Oh, the extra bounce there. Off a length. Taking Rakshit Chabra, I should say.
That's the type of ball that'll just create a little bit of doubt. 44 for 2 after 5 overs. And you look at 8 coming off that over, so a marked improvement. Set himself a pretty low bar in that first over, but you'll take 8 coming off a 21 run over for Bhagwan Singh.
A lot of action this summer. Cricket in Canada. First national side in the Netherlands. Taking on Netherlands and USA. It's a tri-series. Calls for catch it. But it's placed well. Just over the fielder's head. They'll pick up a single.
Ryan Patan determined to not give away another maiden. Goes for the sweep. Bit of a top edge, but enough to elude the fielder at square leg.
Popped up. Half an appeal. It's like they might have come off the pads.
Gosal's getting good bounce too. And it's just keeping them on the back foot, keeping them guessing.
Try to go over the covers. And he gets the distance. That's another boundary. And this time it's Rakshit Chabra.
And that's pretty much the first time that Gosal's given a bit of width on the offside. And a smart drive over the infield to the cover boundary.
It was actually pretty straight as well. He gave himself some room by going down leg. Just getting past that leg stump line.
And that's what you've got to do as a batter as well. You can't let the bowler settle into their rhythm. Got to keep them guessing. Use the crease to your advantage. See a change in the field. Got a deep wicket now. Didn't like getting hit for that boundary. Went with the quicker one.
49 for 2 at the end of 6. Just going back to the amount of cricket that we've had, and we're about to have the GT20 just finished, the World Cup before that, the first ever T20 World Cup appearance for Canada. We've now got our Central Championships. Starting this Sunday, we've got the Men's Nationals. The following week we've got the women's nationals, and then we've got some development stuff coming up for the Canada A side. And then right after that, we go into some more ODI action where Canada, I should say, takes on Nepal and Oman. And following that ODI series, there is a T20I series as well. So a lot of action. This summer is full of it. So those of you who are looking to come out and follow some cricket, come and watch some cricket, you've got a lot of options.
Cricket is here. Cricket is strong in Canada, and hopefully all the momentum that's being created with all this action continues to pay off down the line.
We're going to see a change in the bowling. Ansh Patel comes into the attack.
And he's been the spinner of the tournament. Huge performance in the semifinals, taking 5 for 13. Has had the batters wrapped around his finger, quite literally.
The longer one, we tried to strap it over it.
And this is a big contest. Rayan Patan going up against Ansh Patel.
He's going to have to be careful as well. It is the end of the power play overs. You don't have the restriction on the number of players that are outside the inner field. He does well to guide that.
That's well played. Timed that late cut to perfection and found the gap as well to get the single. And that's what you want to do with a bowler like Ansh Patel. Not take too many risks. Keep that strike rotating.
Oh, that turn. And that's going to be a wicket as well. That's a stumping. Just taking it away from the batter. Getting him to reach forward as well. And he's taken the bails off in a flash.
That was really good work behind the stumps. As you said, in a flash. Saw Chabra outside the crease for just that split second, and that's all he needed. And guess who it is providing another breakthrough? Ansh Patel. It's going to be hard to catch him in the wicket tally, that's for sure. 50 for 3 now after 6.3 overs. Rayan Patan still there. 30 off 18 as the captain strolls out, Parveen Kumar. And this should be a decisive partnership.
Well, Ansh Patel leading the attack with the ball for his side in this tournament. 13 wickets to his name so far. Also very good economy rate for a T20 tournament, going at 3.19, average 3.92. You couldn't ask better from the youngster. And he's going to be instrumental today if he's to bring this home for his side.
He's proven just so difficult to read. And that was another prime example. Deceiving Chabra in the flight. Drawing him forward just enough to create the stumping opportunity.
TDCA 3 wickets down. They've brought up their 50. Rayan Patan has been the lone man standing. Opened the batting for his side.
Anup Ravi, wicketkeeper captain, making sure he's got the right feel for the new batter. Obviously Parveen Kumar, a lefty. So want to make sure the setup is right, lefty to lefty here.
He's off the mark, Parveen Kumar. Two rival teams going head to head. Two of the largest leagues in Ontario. The Toronto District Cricket League, or Cricket Association, taking on the Brampton League, which is again, a lot of players, a lot of teams, a lot of divisions. So it's fitting to have these two playing a final.
A lot of bragging rights on the line.
We had a visit from Mayor Patrick Brown earlier as well. That's the end of the 7th, 51 for 3. Mayor Patrick Brown coming out and saying his hello. Of course, been instrumental in the growth of cricket in Brampton and in Ontario. Had a lot of support from them at the GT20 recently as well. They've done extremely well in terms of providing facilities, grounds, allowing for turf wickets to be made, to be taken care of. And we know how important it is to have these sort of facilities, especially when you've got players who are up and coming in the area. And eventually, the idea is if you develop through the system, you want to try and make it to the top. And the top means eventually getting the opportunity to maybe play for your country. You can only play for your country and play against the best in the world if you've got the facilities that you've trained for or trained on.
Seeing is believing. And when you create opportunities for all these kids that have so much potential and they're able to see a path to potentially playing for the national team or whatever level it is they aspire to, it makes things that much easier for everyone involved to buy in and invest and create a legitimate path.
Pulled. Kavya Norris comes into the attack. Spent a lot of time in Sri Lanka recently. Been there over a year, I think, actually, training. Good leg spin bowler.
They're rolling with the spinners. And you have to say the way that they've been able to pull things back. You look at the first couple overs going for 30 odd. It's been all TDCA since, you'd have to say. Taking the 3 wickets, conceding just about 20 runs in those 5 overs. Really pulled things back nicely.
Flighted. And oh, that would have been a stunning catch had it been taken. Goes down the ground. Ryan Patan just missing the hands of the fielder. A diving attempt. We'll just wait on confirmation whether there was a boundary or 6 runs. He waited on that as well. Picked it up beautifully down the ground. Short. And cut away. Tell you what, he had probably had his heart in his mouth there for a few seconds.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, there's no pulling back Rayan today. 35 now off 21. And every opportunity he's had to free his arms, he's pretty much found the ropes. Or gone beyond it.
Lucky to get away with that one. Another short delivery. He wanted to pull that. Praveen Kumar. Ryan Patan sat himself out in the game earlier against the U19s. Quicker delivery. Just under the
well
bat.
done. That's well done. That's a pretty good over to start out. 57 for 3 after 8. And even with the boundary conceded, that was a half chance, you'd have to say. And you'd take that as a spinner, as a leggy coming in. You know there's always going to be a bit of risk, and you want your leggies to be brave and take some chances. And you know they might go to the boundary a couple of times, but they'll induce that top edge or they'll create a false stroke. And that's what they're in the side for.
Tough art as well. Leg spin bowling. Never was my thing.
Neither was it mine. That's why I was behind the stumps.
And that's a good catch. It has flown to this fielder at slip, and what a good catch this is. Ryan Patan falls for 35 off 21 today, and this is a big wicket.
And we talked about this being the big matchup. Anch gets his man. Tossed up, outside off. the drive was there, but maybe didn't quite get his feet in position, and a bit too much upper body going into that, and he ends up edging it straight to slip. Huge wicket. Again, it is all TDCA ever since the first couple of overs that went for plenty.
I don't have control of the ticker,
Oh, okay.
so I don't know who's doing it.
BDCL with some work to do now. 57 for 4, 8.1 overs, and all that good work that was done early has come undone.
And this is where you have to be somewhat intelligent with the shots that you're going to pick. You know you've just lost 3 wickets on the trot. Not many runs in the last few overs. He was the anchor to this innings, and he's just thrown it away. He's going to be frustrated with himself, Ryan Patan.
But that's what pressure does. And the pressure created by TDCA, by Ansh Patel in particular, you look at that shot. Some players, you know, when they're under pressure, they're going to look to absorb it. They're going to look to just fight it out and hang in there. And some players, it's in their nature to counterattack and see if they can put the pressure back on the bowler. And just didn't pay off for Rayan this time.
Parth Chaudhary, correction. The new man out in the middle. Got some work to do. 2 new batters. 4 down. He's off the mark.
Well, if there's a man you want for a crisis, it would be the top scorer in the tournament, which is Praveen Kumar, alongside someone in Parth who is probably more comfortable taking his time and building this innings up. Need a real captain's knock here from Parveen.
We're sitting at 135 runs in the tournament so far, going at a strike rate of 164. Not a bad average either, 45. He's having a good tournament, and that's played well. Looking for the second. They decide against it.
Last thing you need in this situation is a run out.
One of my pet peeves, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the first thing you learn to do when you're really young. You walk and then you run. Can't possibly make a mistake running.
That's a good way to put it. Never thought of it like that.
That's well bowled. Quick as well. Looking for the attempted stumping. The umpire's not interested this time. 1 delivery to come in the over.
Gotta say, we could keep Anup Ravi really quick with the draw.
He'll have to bowl that one again.
Mm-hmm.
Straying down leg.
But what a match winner he's proving to be for his side. Ansh Patel. Every time he comes on.
Oh, that's just past the slip. It's going to be the end of the 9th over. 60 for 4.
And again, that could have been another wicket. Not really a chance, but you can see he's just creating so many problems for the batters. This is going to be some tough sledding here for Parveen Kumar and Parth Chaudhary. Ideally,
I don't have access to that.
you'd want to see them,
Yeah.
if you're a BDCL fan, you probably want to see these two hang in there for at least another 6, maybe 7 overs before they can really launch into it again.
And that's it. It's plenty of overs. We're just 9 overs in, not even at the halfway point yet.
And that's important too. You get so caught up in thinking this is such a short game, but in the moment, you've also got to realize just how much time you have. And just as quickly as TDCA was able to wrestle back the momentum, it could shift again. That's what this format is all about.
Javier Nares, of course, been around for a long time. Still trying to find a way to perform and make it to that national side. A lot of passion. And that's a good run. Nice and quick. A lot of passion for his cricket. His whole family involved in cricket as well. His brothers play. At one point, his sister used to play as well, but I think she's now gone down the road of badminton. They're an athletic family. The Nareses.
Well, if you're playing cricket and badminton, the hand-eye coordination's got to be on point.
That's 6 runs. It's a maximum. Parveen Kumar launches one.
Going for the slog sweep. Perfectly executed over deep mid-wicket. Fantastic strike. And some much-needed momentum. They'll be hoping that forces a little bit of a rethink for Nares, and we'll see how he comes back.
Looking to slog that again. It should just be the single. Protection in the deep.
Again, just a bit short. But we'll see how he adjusts to the right-hander now. That's better. Pitched up a little bit more. Not as much flight, and just forced a quicker decision.
They pick up a single to end the over. 10 gone, 70 for 4. Both of these sides coming in 3 games each. Only difference is the TDCA side have not lost a game yet. BEDCL team have lost 1 game. So fair to say that they're coming in on a high, the TDCA. Like you said, bragging rights to play for. And a lot of these players do play in both leagues. We've got Ryan Patan, for example, plays in T&D, and then he also plays in the BDCL. So they've seen each other. They play against each other. They play with each other as well.
There'll be a lot of talking right now. There'll be a lot of talking after the game.
Were you much of a sledger?
Here and there, you can kind of sense a vibe of someone and feel like you can get in there a little bit. I think as a wicketkeeper, it's almost an obligation.
They might have to ask you off air what the worst or the best, whatever you want to call it. We might have some kids watching this.
But, you know, I think when I played as a keeper, I guess most of my wicket-keeping days came in high school. And playing for Woodlands in Mississauga, it was always easier to chirp because we won most of the time.
It's a bit harder when you're on the losing side, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although I've seen people do that
Yeah.
quite effectively, actually.
It's probably why the Aussies chirp the most.
You know what? They do have the most trophies in that cabinet.
Exactly.
So we saw them on fine display at the T20.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did. And it's good to see
The Brampton Wolves, the Aussies.
some of the top Aussies come out. Marcus Stoyne is obviously a fantastic talent for Australia, and we've seen him apply his trade at the international level. We've seen him in the IPL. And now we got to see him in the GT20.
course, and what a schedule. Just play the T20 World Cup, then flew a little bit north, played the Major League,
Mm-hmm.
and then flew a little bit more north and played the GT20. Just tournament after tournament after tournament.
Hey, when you're getting paid. Those flights are a lot shorter when you're getting paid what you get paid in these leagues.
Well, it shows you as well. I mean, when you're spending so many days, so many weeks, months off away from home, on the road, hotel to hotel, it does take a toll on you mentally and physically. And the amount of preparation that it takes for them to get to that level, to hold it together, especially mentally, because it tests you. You're away from family, you're away from your home. It's a mindset, and it's something that we often overlook in cricket. But I'm happy to see that mental awareness is being brought into it. Mental health is being brought into cricket.
And you also see the importance of teams building that family culture within their franchises to sort of try and alleviate some of that concern you have when players are away from their families, away from their friends. And, if you can really build a togetherness with the people you're spending the most time with, it can make life just that little bit easier.
Gurpal Sidhu comes back into the attack. Yeah, very important to build that team culture. Very important to understand that you are spending a lot of time with that environment, with that team, those people. And we do see team bonding is now important, activities, just going out, having a good time with not just what you'd call teammates, but your mates, and it's important.
And as you said, we've got players here in this match who have played for both districts and building
That's a
those
big one.
relationships.
And it's going to be 6 runs. That is picked up beautifully by Praveen Kumar.
And obviously he's been in top form throughout the tournament, getting just enough room there for another slog sweep. He loves that shot and had no concern whatsoever about deep wicket and cleared him pretty comfortably in the end. Smart cricket. You've got the 6. You've got deep mid wicket standing right on the boundary. So what do? You just tap it into the gap, get yourself a couple. Really smart cricket.
This is an interesting bowling change for me as well. You've got the likes of Gurjot Gosal that's picked up 2 wickets. Anj Patel picked up 2 wickets. Kavya Norris has also been pretty decent. The 2 opening bowlers have been the most expensive. So to go back to them, it's an interesting choice at this point in the game when they're well on top of the BDCL.
I always find these decisions so interesting from captains because there be the captains who want to keep their foot on the throat. And as you said, would go with those options that have been so good in this match. And then you'll also have the captains who will think to themselves, oh, you know what, we've got the momentum. Maybe this is a chance to sneak in an over or 2 from the ones who are struggling and get away with one.
Sloppy fielding. They pick up a bye in the end. It really comes down to captaincy styles, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Down the ground. Does it have enough on it? No, it doesn't. It picks up the safe hands of the fielder right on the rope. Well, Gurpal Sidhu might have ended up being a better choice in the long run. He's just picked up a wicket.
And there you go. The captain looks great. Says, hey, maybe I can sneak one in here. Maybe coming out of the drinks break, the concentration level's not as high. Maybe with the way momentum is on our side, we can get the batter to try and do something silly. And that's exactly what's happened. Caught right on the rope, just didn't get enough bat on it And that was really, in the end, well taken in the deep. Had to keep an eye out for his feet right on the boundary and made it look easy.
Well, Part Chadari, he goes for 5 runs off 10 balls today. He'll be disappointed with himself. He needed to build a partnership with Parveen Kumar. And when they're starting to build a partnership as well, unfortunately, just finds the fielder in the deep. 83 runs for 5 after 11.
And I know we were discussing before that ideally you wanted to see them come out of the break, maybe get to the 15th over, the 16th over, and then had enough wickets to play with to really go hammer and tong in those final few overs. But now you lose the wicket and you've got a bit of a rethink.
Saeed Malhotra, the new bat out in the middle. The BDCL 5 down. Still got plenty of overs left, but they're now worried about that wickets column. They risk being bowled out. We're in the tail end as well.
Just over half the overs done, half the side out. You can't ask for anything more as the bowling side.
But this is what they're going to be, or this is what they should be very careful of, the extras. When you've got the pressure on, the last thing you want to do is bleed in terms of extras. 5 wides already in the innings so far, and most of them from their spinners.
You're absolutely right. T20, it can come down to such small margins. And extras, obviously you can't really control leg buys, but with your wides, your no balls, that's in your control. You definitely don't want to just give away these cheap runs.
We're not at the best of angles to see how much the ball's turning, but so far it's been pretty consistent. Not much turn out there, not much swing as well.
Straight back past the bowler. I'm sure Naresh wish he would have got both hands on that. Build up a bit of pressure, but they're able to release a bit with a single. And now you get Parveen Kumar, the man in form, back on strike.
Well, he goes down the ground, and he's cleared the boundary.
Right on cue, over the ropes, a big 6. No chance for long on. Easy to see why he's the top run scorer.
Was in the slot as well. A poor delivery from Kavya Naresh. To be careful with the length that you bowl as well. If you pull it back just a little bit, you put the batter in 2 minds, whether to go forward or whether to go back. Slogs again. And he gets the distance again. That fielder had no chance. That's 6 more runs. And this is turning out to be an incredibly massive over.
That's his 3rd slog sweep for 6. You'd think the bowlers would have cued in by now. But again, just tremendous execution on the batter's part, not so much on the bowler. And you really have to appreciate the fact that Parveen has been able to put away every bad ball.
Flighted, full. And it's a wicket. We're just going to wait to see for confirmation whether he's put it down or not. It looks like he might have just put it down. He tried to slog again. There was a fielder. And it looks like he did put it down. So Parveen Kumar survives.
Able to get away with one there. That's probably the first time that he got a little carried away. Most of the time, when he's found the ropes, he's just looked to nudge it away for 1 or 2. This time, trying to turn this into a really big over and probably deserved the escape there. He's been in such good nick.
Well, 100 comes up. 100 for 5 at the end of 12.
Much needed over there for BDCL. You look at the way the momentum's been going.
Yeah, it has a USB port if you have it.
Naresh was bowling well. Obviously, Ansh Patel was bowling well. But you just get to wrestle back a bit of the initiative there. And now you look to build back here going into this 13th over, 104-5.
With some confidence as well when you bring up that 100.
Absolutely.
You know, you've reached the milestone. You feel like you've set the platform where you can now be a little bit more free with your shots.
And at the end of the day, this is a final. Runs on the board are always going to create that pressure.
And what do you reckon par score on this pitch?
Well, I think looking at the situation now, 100 after 12 overs, the fact that you've got Parveen Kumar going great at one end, you would want to think about 160 plus in terms of creating some real pressure.
Gurjat
And I think
Gosal.
anything over 170 will be really intimidating.
Gurjat Gosal's got incredible figures. 2 for 5. He's going to need to find a partner, or he's going to have to try and find a wicket here, correction. And the reason he's going to need to find a wicket is because Praveen Kumar, who's now on 32 off 16, is starting to look dangerous. And like you said, you know, there's a scoreboard pressure that really plays a role when you're coming and you're chasing. When you're a runner ball, maybe about 7 required, 8 required per over. You don't have as much pressure, but as soon as you get into the 9, 10 runs required and over, it starts to play on you. You can't take your time establishing those partnerships. You have to go from ball one.
Especially if the fielding side comes out with that energy, that intensity is consistent with their line and length. That's how you create that pressure, that tenseness around a chase.
They pick up 2 runs.
And it's funny, it's always those almost middling scores that create that doubt. You know, when a team's got a high score, you know there's only one way you got to go.
It's true. Pacing an innings is not as easy as it seems. Sometimes that's why we see the low-scoring thrillers.
Yeah,
Because you feel like you've got all the time in the world.
And those are some of the best games you can watch. I mean, even going back to the T20 World Cup, yeah, there were some bad pitches, but I also thought that kind of created some of those last ball finishes that we saw, or at least last over.
Yeah, difficult pitches, but it was refreshing to see an even contest between bat and ball.
Exactly, and especially coming off an IPL where we were seeing 260s and 270s and wondering if we're going to see a 300.
And that's not really a contest at that point.
No.
You might as well have a bowling machine out there.
Exactly.
It's played into the leg side. It's going to be a single to end the over. 104 for 5 at the end of 13.
And in some ways, I thought those conditions actually helped the associate nations participating because that's what they're accustomed to playing in. And you've got all these top sides that are used to these belters of pitches and flat tracks and just swinging with free arms, and all of a sudden they're trying to bring that same approach to these pitches, and it wasn't working out, and it took them some time to adjust.
Isn't it funny that our difficult pitches were a better preparation for a World Cup? And here we are asking for world-class facilities to prepare our players to play against the best. But you're right. I mean, we do play on very difficult conditions. And for players who are used to true wickets with balls coming on nicely every time, they're just not accustomed to slower wickets, more difficult wickets. We saw a bit of that at GT20 as well.
Absolutely.
A lot of associate players did very well. Difficult pitches, but they're used to the conditions. They're used to not taking the bounce for granted or not taking the ball for granted as it comes onto your bat, because the next one might not come on as well.
No,
Some of the international players, they're not accustomed to those conditions.
that's so true. But it's interesting because until about 20 years ago, you would have thought it would just be the opposite.
Let's cut away. They'll pick up a single. Javier Neres. He's been expensive. He's been given another over. 33 so far. Coming off of his 3.1 overs. Yet to pick up a wicket. This is disappointing stuff from him, to be honest. He spent a lot of time in Sri Lanka training.
And it was really that last over that was a bit too wayward from him. The first two were okay, and it was just really got took to the cleaners by Praveen Kumar. And so he needs a bit of a strong finish here and set his side up for these final 6 overs.
He's really quick through the air as well. Doesn't really allow the ball to... There's no flight. There's no drift. It's just darted in every ball. Looking to use his feet. Doesn't quite get the ball where he wants it, Praveen Kumar, but he'll still pick up 2 runs. Good aggression by the batters out in the middle.
And you mentioned that lack of flight, and that's where you see a bit of that mental game for the leggy as well. You know, when you get hit, are you still willing to toss it up? Are you still willing to take that risk and give yourself the best chance of a wicket?
That's reversed, and that's played well. He gets it fine. Doesn't quite have the power to get to the boundary, but they pick up another 2 runs. It's just smart batting from Praveen Kumar. He's not allowed the bowler to settle down. He's using his feet. He's reversing. Can't let him settle on that line of length that's going to trouble him.
Exactly. And I think this is where, coming off that previous over, not wanting to let Naresh settle at all, and he's continued in the same vein.
Well, and that's what you get when you don't let the bowler settle. This one's a short delivery. He gets away with it, actually.
But again, you can see the defensive mindedness of the bowler now, and trying to go quicker and trying to just not give as much time to the batter.
It's going to be a dot ball to finish the over. 111 for 5 at the end of 14.
Sensing just a bit of a momentum shift, as you can see this partnership building. You can see Praveen Kumar looking in complete control. This drinks break almost coming at a good time for TDCA. And you would think, even though they had the majority of the momentum after the first couple of overs, now these 6 overs could prove really, really decisive. And, you know, 10 and over from here will take you to that 170 mark, which could prove a bit too much.
Well, projected score at this run rate gets you to 160. They're going at just 8 runs and over, actually. 160 is going to be very difficult. But you sense that there's going to be a twist in this tale. Praveen Kumar has been very attacking. He sits on 41, just 9 away from that half century. But the way he's attacking, you feel like something's going to give at some point here.
Yes, I'm sure the bowlers have been thinking that right throughout this tournament. But here he sits as the top run scorer, on course for another half century, and in quick time once again as well. 41 off just 24.
Gurjot Gosal has been extremely decent with the ball. Picked up 2 wickets. Going at a good strike rate as well. Or good economy, sorry. See, too early on the shot. Looking to sweep that. Praveen Kumar, this time beaten for lack of pace.
And that's brave. And you need a bit of that right now with Kumar going strong. Another good ball. And You get a couple of dots. Try to arrest some of that momentum. Try to get Kumar to think twice. Make something happen.
Oh, he's reversing again. And this is what I meant when something's going to give, because he's getting impatient out there. He's now had a couple of dot balls. 4 dot balls in this over so far. And you feel like there's a release shot coming. Maybe he's going to chip down the wicket. Maybe go for that slog sweep again. But something's got to give when you're 4 dot balls. Fired in this time. Smart bowling from Gurjot Gosal, correction.
He's mixing it up really, really well. He's not afraid to flight the ball. Then he throws in the quicker one. And for someone who's been out there as long as he has in Parveen Kumar, to keep him guessing is a fine effort.
Oh, he's just bowled a maiden. You could not have asked better for your bowler at this point in the game. 111 for 5 at the end of 15.
And that's exactly what you needed, exactly what you wanted coming out of the drinks break. Go to the bowler who's been getting it done. 2 for 9. Gosal's figures been very impressive on the day. And frankly, even going back to the semis, just a fantastic day for him. And now, can you back up this over? Can you come in with another strong over and shift the momentum back? We were talking about 160, maybe 170 for BDCL, but at the same time, TDCA will be thinking, get the wicket of Parveen Kumar, and you might even be able to keep them under 150.
I do think he's going to be the difference here, Parveen Kumar. Gurpal Sidhu into the attack with the ball. They pick up a single, brings Parveen Kumar back on strike. If you're at the non-strikers, what are you telling Parveen Kumar? He's just faced a maiden over.
I'd say the key to winning this match is him batting out the 20 overs. And don't get caught up in what just happened in the previous ball and the previous over. You've had plenty of success in this inning so far. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, he tries to go for another slog sweep. There is protection in the deep. Doesn't get anywhere near that rope, and he survives.
He survives. You expect that chance to be taken. Went for the slog sweep. Obviously, feeling the pressure of that maiden over. Went for the biggie, but got a top edge. And coming in from deep square leg, you expect that chance to be taken, but a massive reprieve for Parveen.
Better looking shot, straight down the ground. He gets the distance. That's 4 runs. This was right out of the middle as well. Now, how expensive is that drop going to be?
And that's going to do a world of good for Parveen Kumar as well, because you want someone at the other end who can take a bit of that pressure off. And you were asking me about, hey, what do you say to Parveen as a non-striker? Well, in terms of what you can do, you can take the pressure off by knocking a few boundaries yourself.
Oh, that's a top edge. It's gone high up in the air. And it lands right in the middle. 2 fielders.
Well, it looked like Parveen Kumar was ready to give back the strike and come back for the second there. Ran halfway down the pitch, but Saab Malhotra was not interested.
That's a big one. And that's a convincing shot. Parveen Kumar continues the attack.
And that's why Saab Malhotra wanted him on strike. Did not want to come back for that second. Said, hey, You're batting fantastically well. Forget about that maiden over. Forget about that mishit. That top edge that almost got you out. It's your day. You've had a couple of chances that haven't been taken. Make the most of it.
Well, I don't know if he knows this or not, but he is 2 away from that half century. Poor bowling from Gurpal Sidhu as well. He's been right in the slot. Easy to pick. Using his feet, he comes down the ground. Does he pick up the second run? He does! And that's going to be 50. Praveen Kumar, what an innings. Celebrated by his team as well.
Striking at 152. 50 off 33 deliveries. It's really been fantastic to watch. 126 for 5 now after 16 overs. And this is exactly the scenario we were talking about, where you come into those final 4 overs, you've got just enough wickets to play with. You've got the man in form, Praveen Kumar, at the crease. And so now you're definitely looking over 160, and that 170 comes into play as well.
Oh, what an innings this has been. Half century up in just 33 deliveries. He did well as well on that delivery because the bowler saw him coming down. He pitched it outside off. He had to reach for it. And he did just that. He was aware of where the line was going to be. And Patan, handy knock from him as well up at the top. 35 off 22. But these two have been the major run getters. Ryan Patan, Praveen Kumar. They continue. Ansh Patel comes into the attack. Well, he's going to be crucial here. He's going to have to try and pick up that man, Praveen Kumar.
This is smart cricket from Sahib Malhotra too, who's come in. Run a ball 11. He's knocked the one boundary that has helped take a bit of the pressure off and kind of helped get Praveen Kumar back in his rhythm, back in his flow. And this partnership could really do some damage from here.
Down the track and down the ground. He goes all the way. That's 6 runs. He might as well be taking the game away here from TDCA. Praveen Kumar, they're going to have to be careful. What do you do as the captain? How do you pick up this wicket?
Right now, Praveen can do it all. He hits a 6 and he puts it in the goal too.
Into the soccer net.
He can't miss.
The better delivery. Quicker. Fired in.
You feel like Kumar is back in his rhythm though. Earlier, maybe going for a bit too much. When he was batting his best, he wasn't getting carried away with the boundaries and was looking to knock it around after a boundary. Now he's back kind of in that zone.
It's a top edge. 1 bounce to the fielder in the deep. Wasai Malhotra, your job is to now give Praveen Kumar the strike. Pick up the single, get him on strike. Because at the rate that he's going, he can do no wrong.
No, I mean, when he does, the fielders let him off anyway.
And this is why we say catches win matches. Have to take the chances when they come up.
Smart cricket. Knock it down for a single. Well guided down.
They're milking it. Frustrating for a bowler as well to get picked off for singles.
But that's going to be the case with this field. You don't really see where, unless you can get him driving to mid-off, it's going to be easy pickings.
Well, they pick up 2 runs because the fielders are so far in the deep, and that's going to be 2 runs to end the over. 137 for 5 at the end of 17.
Praveen looking tremendous. 59 off 37. Sahib Malhotra doing the job with the run of ball 12. Final 3 overs here. Ready for that final liftoff. You probably are targeting at least 10 and over, probably more like 12 and over at this stage. And that, again, you get over that 170 mark, I think that's going to be a very intimidating total in a final.
Well, they've held steady at that 8 runs and over mark. Projected score still 160. I tell you, I think 160 is a fighting total on this ground. The outfield is thick. The ball's not traveling along the ground. So it's either the maximums or you're running your heart out. Got decent boulders as well, the BDCL.
And that's where it's helped out a great deal that they've been able to go over the ropes as many times as they have in this innings. Obviously, we know that TDCA will have their own big hitters ready to come to the party. And hopefully, we have a real chase on our hands.
Bhagwan Singh back into the attack. And he's gone downtown, over the fielder's head. Just picking that cow corner boundary, and it's another 6 runs. This time it's Sahib Malhotra. This partnership is turning out to be a dangerous one.
Hasn't quite been Bhagwan Singh's day. Has really struggled with his line and length. And to see another one go for 6, it's going to be real tough going to find a rhythm now. How does he respond?
This partnership, 54 off 36. Sahib Malhotra chipping in 12 of those. Praveen Kumar has been the attacking batter of the two. 40 off 24. What a partnership this is turning out to be. It might just be a game-winning partnership.
And you think about the pressure that was on when they were at, was it 83 for 5? And in need of a rebuild. They've done it beautifully. The 60 runs have come in quick time, giving themselves plenty of time still for a really big score. And now Bhagwan Singh gets a crack at the main man.
That's another biggie. And he goes for another maximum. Just waiting on confirmation. Oh, it looks like a 1 bounce. No, he does go for the maximum. The umpire signals 6 runs.
Well, that's good sportsmanship from the fielder in the deep. Calling the 6 for the umpire. Bhagwan Singh might not be too happy about that, though. They might have a chat once they get back in the hut.
Tell you what, the bowlers are going to have to work a little bit harder than this. They've just not bowled the right lines or lengths. Easy to pick off. Goes again, and this time he goes behind square. Some good wrist work on that shot.
Well, if Bhagwan Singh is going to have something in common with Praveen Kumar today, he's on the verge of bringing up his 52.
That's tough. That's a tough one, Vivek.
Well, the bowling's been anything but.
With 19 runs coming off of this over so far, 2 deliveries to come still. Bhagwan Singh, he has gone for plenty. You have some of those days sometimes, don't you? It just doesn't go your way. Unfortunately, he's just not been very accurate with his bowling.
Absolutely. And you feel for him in a final.
2 full. And he gets the treatment. And it's 6 more runs. Good batting this from Praveen Kumar.
It's just one of those days for Bhagwan Singh. He's going to
just
have to just erase it from his memory.
pitched up again. Just all Praveen Kumar had to do was put that foot down and go downtown, and he did. Good composure as well. Good balance. Didn't overhit that stroke. Just timed it beautifully. This is pulled away. Too short this time. Does it run away to the boundary? Oh, just pulled in. And they pick up 2 runs to end a very expensive over. 164 for 5 at the end of 18.
And that goes back to the point you were making earlier about the outfield being a bit sluggish. Get it along the ground. It's hard to get the 4, but if you clear the ropes often enough, you're looking good.
Well, that par score, projected score, was 160. They've already reached it. They're now sitting at 164.
Yeah, we've been talking about 160, we've been talking about 170, and now all of a sudden 180, maybe even you wouldn't even put 190 out of reach.
And you'd have to feel if it does, if it goes any higher, the T&D side is going to struggle. TDC are going to have a hard time chasing this. The scoreboard pressure is going to have a big play in the minds of the batters from the time that they come out there. You're going to have to deal with some good bowling as well from the BDCL side.
But if you're TDCA, you've just got to tell yourselves that, you know, throughout this first innings, the momentum has swung one way then the other. And if you can come out and have a strong power play, put some pressure on the opposition, on the bowling, it can shift again.
Do you think it's fair to just call them Toronto versus Brampton?
I think
Instead
that's fair
of
enough. I think
TDCA, BEDCL. Toronto taking on Brampton today.
I'm happy to take your lead on that
Batsman
one.
Park in Brampton, Ontario. Down the ground. There's a fielder coming around. 2 fielders coming around, in fact. Falls safe. They pick up 2 runs. Good running by the batters out in the middle. Sahib Malhotra starts with a couple in this over. $79 off 41. Not a bad outing if you're Praveen Kumar.
No, not at all. Feels like they might have held back Ansh Patel a bit too much. Coming in now with so much of the damage already done.
And that might be out. And it is. Sahib Malhotra goes straight down. Tries to beat the fielder at long on. Unfortunately, finds a safe pair of hands there. Crucial wicket here. It wasn't Praveen Kumar, but nonetheless, he gets the partnership broken. Ansh Patel.
And this is where you have to wonder, as the momentum was shifting back in BDCL's favor, could Ansh Patel have come in earlier and maybe changed the game a little bit? Great to see him come back and take another wicket, but at this stage, you feel like so much of the damage has already been done, sitting at 166 for 6 after 18.2.
Well, Sahib Malhotra played a decent innings, 21 off 16, but more importantly, he gave the partnership that Praveen Kumar needed.
Exactly. That was really well done by Sahib Malhotra. Fantastic partnership.
Jaskaran Puttard joins Praveen Kumar out in the middle, usually known for his bowling, but a handy bat as well.
And he's been striking it well coming into this final. Striking over 200. And he's certainly capable of some big hits.
Well bowled. Just under the bat of Jaskaran Puttard. You could see the intention from ball 1.
There's
He
only
wants
one
to
way to go at this stage.
Well, he wants to strike him long. I still think the better idea is to get off strike, get Praveen Kumar on strike.
I feel like with the game now,
But why would you do that when you could hit one like that? That's 6 runs.
I was just going to say, with the game now, at this stage of the innings, you want players going from both ends. Try to capitalize on every ball that comes in. And he's done just that. He's hit the ball well enough in this tournament, so why not?
Flat batted again, down the ground. This time he's gone though. One time too many. Safe pair of hands. Long off takes a good catch in the deep, and Ansh Patel picks up yet another wicket.
That's well done. That's really well done in the field. Man at long off seems a bit relieved. Might be a bit hurt, but he'll take a little pain in his knee for a catch like that.
There's no real celebration there from the fielder either.
No, I think he was a bit too hurt. He's barely making his way over to the bowler.
1 run to come, or 1 ball to come in this over. Yeah, we haven't seen Praveen Kumar take the strike. And this is what I meant. Give him the strike. I know you want to go for the long ones. You got a 6. But still, that man is the one who's been out there in the middle for as long as he has. 41 deliveries, 79 balls.
I think with 1 ball to go in this situation, if you're Parveen Kumar, you're telling Prabjot Sangha that this is a free hit. This has either got to be 2, 4, or 6 so that he can have strike to start the final over.
Well, they've done well, Brampton. 172 for 7. It's a beautiful day as well.
172.
Batsman Park. Well, the batters are talking.
That's well bowled. That's a good way to finish up. But Parveen Kumar will take that. He's got the strike to start this final over. And you've got BDCL sitting at 172 for 7 after 19. And certainly looking at 180 plus, which will be a very daunting task to chase.
Who are we trusting the final over to? That's what Toronto's thinking. How can we try and limit and do some damage control in this final over?
It's a big debate. It's a big debate. And I think once again we have to commend Ansh Patel. Clearly a man for the big moment. Takes 5 in the semis, 5 for 13, and now he's coming in this final and taking 4 for 25. He can be really proud of his efforts today and everything he's done to help his side get over the line.
A new bowler.
Well, there's some unconventional thinking. Maybe just throw someone at Parveen Kumar that he hasn't seen yet today.
This is an interesting tactic. You've just bowled a brand new bowler for your final over. Mihir Patel gets given the ball.
And he starts off with a dot.
Starts off with a dot. This is first real bit of pace that we've seen as well.
And again, you know, Parveen hasn't had a look at him in this innings, and so it just makes things a little bit different.
It's a short ball. It's a bad ball.
They've
He
gotta
gets
find
away
a
with
way.
it. Just be a couple of runs. Praveen Kumar stays on strike.
They're not going to be looking for any singles here, that's for sure. Even if it means a run out at the other end to get Parveen back on strike. You want Parveen on strike for all 6 of these deliveries.
Using his feet, coming down the ground. Doesn't have the timing. It's going to be 2 more runs, and this is turning out to be a decent over. 3 deliveries in, just 4 runs coming off of it. Here, Patel, He's bringing in that damage control.
Absolutely. We started off this innings talking about damage control, and we're finishing it that way too. And if you can keep this side under 10 runs in this final over, that's a job really well done. Well, Prabhjot Sangha has run 2 for himself, but 0 for the score.
He was optimistic going down the other end, wasn't he?
But it's the right idea. Parveen Kumar's got to keep the strike here.
I was looking for the wide. The umpire says, no, that's within the line. Disappointed, Praveen Kumar.
Just 4 runs off these 5 deliveries. Really have to tip your hat to Mihir Patel here. And there it is. A fantastic final over. And you can see the frustration on Parveen Kumar's face, slamming the bat to the ground. Not the way he wanted to finish this innings. Not the way he wanted his side to finish the innings. 176 for 7 in 20 overs is where BDCL finish up. And is there enough in that final over for TDCA to feel good about themselves and feel like, okay, we prevented the worst case scenario?
I tell you what, they're gonna feel good that they've restricted them to 176. But the opening pair that comes out, they're gonna know they've got a big task ahead. 177 runs to chase is no small total, especially on a ground where the outfield isn't necessarily the fastest. You will have to take the aerial route, and that's where the mistakes can happen. Nonetheless, Brampton, BDCL, they look happy, as they should be. It's a decent effort with the bat. And Praveen Kumar, their skipper, he's played a great knock. 83 off 45 for him. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with the chase momentarily. Welcome back to the action. This is Manali Patel alongside Vivek Jacob coming to you live from Batsman Park in Brampton. Brampton taking on Toronto in the Central Championship final. Brampton put on a big one today, 176 off their 20 overs, just 7 wickets in. And Toronto, they've got a big job ahead of them. They need 177 to win off their 20 overs. Welcome, Vivek.
Thank you. And you could see Brampton definitely had their chests out, feeling good about the 176 that they have on the board. But you've got to see the second side and see what they can do on this pitch as well. And job's only half done at this point.
What the two new batters, or the two batters I should say, opening for Toronto, Arslan Khan and Bhagwan Singh. Bhagwan Singh, he's got some
Making up to do.
multi-talented player. He's opened the batting and the bowling for his side today. He picked up 3, correction, he didn't pick up any wickets, but he's, yeah, like you said, he's got some making up to do.
Yeah, you'll be looking
56 runs he's got to make up for.
You're looking to get back some of those boundaries he conceded.
That's a good day as a batter if you can make up for the number of runs that you've given as a bowler. Net equation, 0.
That was a pretty good day for me.
So you wicket kept.
I did.
I
That was, and again, that was almost by default, because I always considered myself a good fielder, and I went for the team selections, and they had the tryouts for the batters, had the tryouts for the bowlers, and everyone was put together. And then the coach just asked, "Hey, who can wicket keep?" And no one went forward. And I said, "You know what?
How bad can it be? Tough job, wicket keeping. Zaid Sirjad, or coming off of it.
Great first over to start. That's exactly how you want to defend a big total. Let them know that this is going to be difficult. And you look at the inability to cope with that pace. That's going to create that doubt. And frankly, now coming into the second over, it's going to create even more pressure to get after it.
Well, it's pressure from ball 1. The required rate, 9.16. Dot balls, they're not going to help that equation. Have to take the extras as they come as well. It's not a good day when you have to count on the extras towards your total. 7 wides, 2 byes in the first innings. And of course that drop catch. How much is that drop catch going to end up costing in this game? I believe Praveen Kumar was about 33, maybe 35 runs when he was dropped.
Drop catches. It wasn't just the one let off.
Well, he made it to 83 runs after that. So costly drop, that one.
And you look at the short pitch deliveries in the first over of this innings, we didn't really see too many short pitch deliveries in the first innings, and part of that was probably just not having the adequate pace to threaten with that either.
Well, that's picked up. It's picked up well. And that's a very good shot off the pads. It's going to be 6 runs. Well, that's going to release some pressure.
Desperately needed. And what a shot. What a shot. No one at long on. Don't have to think too much about that. And pitched up. Ball right in the slot. Free swing. And boy, did he swing.
This is where pace becomes dangerous. The faster the ball comes on, the faster it goes off the bat. With spinners, you actually have to put in the effort. You have to make the pace.
Now let's see the response. Jaskaran Buttar.
Down the track. And down the track she goes. This time it's going to be 4 runs. First to 6, now 4. Good pressure on the bowler.
And here's some momentum. Here is a bit of relief for the batting side. A lot of grief in that first over, but definitely making up for it now.
The power play overs, the two fielders in the deep mid wicket, and a long on. Correction, a long off. Oh, that's a good response. Jaskaran Buttar says, you want to chip down to me? You try that again. Let's get some of that chin music going.
Bit of a stare down after to go with it.
Good aggression. This is what you want to see out in the middle.
Yeah. Well, fast bowler never likes seeing a batter just walk down the wicket and blast them straight down the ground.
Experience as well, and Jaskaran Buttar played his cricket in the under-19 Indian setup, continued on to the India A setup as well, recently moved to Canada. So a lot of experience.
Got a taste of the IPL as well, playing for the Deccan Chargers.
Again, good delivery. Saw the batter coming, pulled his length back, moved the line as well away from the batter, not allowing for them to get close to the ball. Yeah, part of the IPL, part of the GT20 last year, and again brought in this year after Kaleem Sana left the Brampton Wolves side.
Mm-hmm.
No, Montreal Tigers, I believe.
Yes, the Montreal Tigers. And you can see the strategy early from Brampton with these short pitch deliveries. That's been their most effective early on here.
Well, he's used his feet every single ball, Bhagwan Singh. To pick up 2 runs, 1 delivery to come in this over. Where are you going if you're Jaskaran Buttar?
I think I'm going short because you look at the way that Bhagwan Singh is looking to come down the pitch. He hasn't looked comfortable with the short ball. And he has the pace.
Well, he's going to have to be careful here, too, because he's already bowled a 1 bouncer for the over. Don't want to be given a no ball for bowling the second one.
That's for sure.
It's tough on the bowlers, isn't it? You imagine telling the batter you can only hit down the ground once in an over. But the bowler can only bowl 1 bouncer. Oh, he tries to go for
He was
Yorker
full
line.
pitched all the way.
1 run in that final delivery. 16 for no loss at the end of 2.
That over will do Bhagwan Singh's confidence a world of good. You get shelled for 56 with the ball. You come in, the first over is tight. You're not able to really pick the bowler. And then you're able to find the fence a couple of times. That's the beauty of cricket. Especially if you've got the all-round ability that he does. The chance to make up for it is right around the corner.
Well, Arslan Khan, he's faced 3 deliveries. He's about the non-strikers for a big chunk of the first 2 overs. Zahid Shirzad comes back into the attack.
And the thing that's important for Toronto here is to not get too caught up in those first couple of overs that Brampton had that went for 30 odd. But remember that after their fight back, it was only about 41 after the 6 overs. And they still went on to make 176.
Well, they're going to have to find a Praveen Kumar somewhere in that batting lineup for that. And a few drop catches. Arslan Khan, 4 dot balls. Oh, it's going to be another dot ball. Correction, another no ball.
This has been the one issue. One issue for Zahid has just been the no balls. Looking for that extra pace, maybe that extra bounce. But he's going to have to bowl it all over again. And this time with a free hit attached to it.
was good for Arslan Khan. He's yet to get off the mark, so now he's got the license to be able to go for it, stress-free. Trying to give himself some room. He goes down the ground. There's no real timing on that shot. He's not able to find the middle of the bat.
And that was almost a no ball for the waist. So just a little thrown off there.
Caught it a dipping, dipping full toss. Stock delivery, that.
Yeah, well, hey, he'll just be happy a free hit didn't go to the fence.
It's harder to hit full tosses because you're not expecting them.
No, no.
You also don't train for them. Half a shout, inside edge. Got some good pace, says Shirzad.
He really does. And you can see when he's able to get that length right, it's been very, very difficult for these two batters to cope. In fact, he could probably take a little bit off if it means avoiding the no balls.
Nah, never tell your pace bowlers to slow it down. Crazy.
I mean, maybe you do if you're giving away one no ball and over.
Down the track. It's gone high up in the air. Oh, and that's just past the hand of the fielder in the deep. That is a poor shot and an even more poor fielding effort.
It looked a bit lazy, didn't it?
Very lazy. Just stuck a hand out.
Just putting out the one hand. You'd think you'd see a bit more commitment in that, especially in a final.
Well,
But,
Arslan Khan has not looked convincing.
No, no. And that's the thing, when you're trying to build momentum in a chase of 176, this isn't a situation where you can have momentum coming from just one side.
Well, he's gone. Try to give himself some room to be able to swing his hands. He's just ended up nicking one to the wicket keeper. And you could sense it. You sense this wicket coming. He was getting impatient, never really found the timing, and in the end, an easy catch to the keeper. Good bowling as well from Zaid Shirzad. Kept the pressure on him. Toronto, they lose their first.
Not his day in a final. Didn't look the part. Struggled right from the beginning. And you'd like to think that there's some fresh momentum that can come in. Because in a chase of 176, you can't afford to waste too many balls. And, you know, if there is maybe a positive is when you've got a batsman struggling in this format, the last thing you want is to take up too many deliveries.
I tell you what, Toronto's going to struggle here. Because that required rate continues to climb as well. 9 runs, 9.06 runs required and over. They've just lost their first wicket. As you mentioned it, yes, Brampton lost wickets early, but they had that Praveen Kumar innings. And they're going to have to find that here, Toronto. Who is it going to be for them today? Who's going to put up their hand and bring in that innings?
And who's going to bring the sixes? Who's going to make it rain here? 9 sixes for Praveen Kumar.
Well, it's got to have to be boundaries at some point.
Didn't hit a single 4. It's not often you see that. 9 sixes and 0 4s.
Ahmed Sheikh there, enjoying his lunch behind the trophies. The directors of Cricket Ontario. Been around Toronto as well for a long time. Toronto and District Cricket League. Part of Cricket Canada in the past. So quite the resume.
And that was quite the stack of trophies.
They're not his. A lot of awards to hand out. It's been a week-long tournament. A lot of teams from all over Ontario. Well, the Central Championships. Well, that is, again, not found the middle of the bat. Ravi Sandhu, the new player out in the middle, but he's off the mark. He's picked up 2 runs.
And you can just see they're struggling to pick him. They're struggling to pick Shirzad and cope with the pace.
And there's been a lot of difficulties with facing the pace bowlers. We only saw predominant spin in the first innings. Now, do you think Toronto's going to question why we didn't use some pace?
It's possible, but it was also their strength for the majority of this tournament.
Until they ran into Brampton.
Until they ran into Brampton. Until they ran into Praveen Kumar.
Giving himself some room. This is a good-looking shot. Allows for his hands to be freed on the offside, and Ravi Sandhu picks up a boundary to finish this over. It's 26 for 1 at the end of 3.
Well, you can see the message that has been sent to Sandhu. Get after it. That's what they're going to have to do. Build back. And they maybe won't have the luxury of saying, hey, let's just try and bat deep and make things happen in the final 4 overs. You need this momentum right now. That's where the power play is so important in each innings. And these first 6, they'll be telling themselves that they need at least 50 from these first 6.
Yeah, power play is a good time to do that. Just the 2 fielders out in the deep. A lot of gaps in the field. Once you cross over that infield. But at the moment, they've struggled to find the middle of the bat. Jaskaran Puttar comes back for his second over. It was a good contest in the first one between him and Bhagwan Singh.
Does he come down the pitch again?
No, but he gives himself some room. Tries to go on the leg side. Saw that a few times from him in the first over where he used his feet down the track to Jaskaran Puttar.
That's a good start. That's a good start if you're the bowler. Jaskaran will be happy with that. Keep it on the ground. That's what you want here. Again, it's hard to find the rope along the ground. You just want to make sure you don't put it in the hitter's arc.
Down the track again. I think he answered your question. He's going to be using his feet quite a bit. Well, you know what? He's going to have to be careful here because he's starting to become predictable with the fact that he is chipping down the wicket almost every other ball.
And you know that Jaskaran's experienced enough to recognize that and adjust accordingly. Played too much cricket, too much high-level cricket to not adjust.
Giving himself room again, this time in the leg side.
Well fielded by Rayan Patan. Looking nimble there. Getting a few chirps from his tent with the athleticism on show there.
Right, Patan, part of the Canadian setup, not in the Netherlands right now. Not known for his fielding, to be honest. I have to give him that. He might give me some headache after for saying that, but it's not one of his strong suits.
Chirping is definitely one of his strong suits.
That I would agree.
He is a talker.
No foot movement whatsoever. Ravi Sidhu planted with his feet, throwing his arms at that. He's going to be careful with that.
I think he just wanted one look at him. I think we might see something happen right here. Bhagwan Singh going over and having a word with him. But I feel like Ravi Sandhu might look to take his chances here.
Well, it's dug in short. Popped up in the air. Just get a single. Ravi Sandhu.
Looks like that got him on the glove a bit. But again, pressure being created. Got a couple of dot balls. Got the new batter who has come out with clear intent, but unable to get Buttar away here. How does he respond?
Sorry, just to cut you out. You can see that they're struggling with the pace.
Mhm.
Even if it's a short ball, they're not getting enough time to get in the right position to be able to pull it.
Absolutely.
Cramped for room. All hands, but it'll pick up runs. Ravi Sandhu picks up 2 runs. 3 runs because of some slow, poor fielding in the deep. If you're Jaskaran Buttar, you'd be very upset with that effort in the deep. 30 for 1 at the end of 4.
That's some poor cricket in the outfield. The misfield allowing, and then you see the lazy throw as well.
Nothing more frustrating than that, especially for a pace bowler who's just come in, put in all the effort, put his back into it.
And to Ravi Sandhu's credit, in terms of what you said about not being able to pick up the pace, not being able to adjust to the pace, he used the pace there. He didn't try to hit it too hard, just worked it into the gap, and they're able to get 3 out of it.
What are your thoughts on the new batting styles? Well, you know, technique. We've always been very technique heavy. You got to move your feet. You got to get in the right position. But now, coaching styles are changing. We're now talking momentum. We're talking transfer of weight.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about getting in the position, not necessarily with your feet, but just how you transfer that weight from your body to the ball. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the big thing that's changed is obviously we've gone from the traditional play it straight, play in the V, to wanting to play 360 degrees. And as a result of that, there's so many more options for the batter now. And so that's where the movement becomes so key. And that's where you want to make sure that you have the right balance for all the array of strokes that are available now. And as opposed to maybe in the past thinking, okay, I want to play with a straight bat, I want to play in the V. Now you're just putting yourself in the best position to read the bowler's mind, anticipate what's coming based on the field that's set, and then try to throw the bowler off.
I tell you what, Ravi Sandhu has yet to move his feet. 6 deliveries he's faced, and he's been planted on every single delivery, just throwing his hands. And he's going to have to be very careful here, because if the bowlers are smart enough, I think they could pick him up. And I'm all for the weight transfer, and I'm all for it if you're good at the weight transfer and getting your arms through that ball. We really saw the international players struggle at GT20. You know, they've been around wickets that are more true. They can trust the pace, they can trust the bounce, and they hoped and waited for that lack of technique that we have so far depended on. Pick up another single here. And you just saw that lack of foot movement was what ended up being the cause of their demise. Every time the wickets fell, it's because we knew the ball was keeping short or keeping low. We knew the ball was not coming on. The bounce was awkward. We knew the only way to successfully bat on that wicket was to play forward. But they were so used to the ball coming on that that shift in going back to basic technique just didn't happen. Which is why it's so important. And that's down the ground, straight into the hands of the fielder at mid-off. Well, Ravi Sandhu, that's going to be the end of your innings today for Toronto. He managed just 10 off 6. Take a look at his feet again. Planted, no foot movement, no transfer of weight. In the end, he just gave an easy catch to the fielder.
I was just going to say, if he could have just got his foot out there, it might not have hit the bottom of the bat and would have gone over mid-off. But that's something he'll have to maybe look back on, think about, work on in the nets, because his day is done.
33 for 2 at the end of 4.3. Anup Ravi joins his partner in crime out in the middle. Bhagwan Singh, he's been quiet, 17 off 16.
Captain, wicketkeeper, Now he's going to have to be a star bat because it's going to take a star effort to recover from this now.
144 required of 93. That equation is still very tough. Not helping matters as they just lost 2 wickets. Their top 2 batters.
And again, it's that scoreboard pressure. Having that 144 to get in mind. Whereas maybe if you're batting first and you're 33 for 2 and 4.3, you're just saying, hey, let's settle in here. Let's not lose another wicket. But no. You've got that pressure, so you've got to think about changing the momentum. You've got to think about how you're going to put the bowler at a disadvantage and get these runs.
Prabhjot Sangha continues. He's just picked up a wicket as well. It's well bowled. Good line into the body.
And this is where you've just got to say, as the batting side, okay, these pacers are getting the better of us. Let's respect them the same way they respected our spinners.
I think it's hard to respect when you've got a required run rate of over 9. But the pace has worked for Brampton. They've cramped for room.
Exactly, the pace and the short pitch deliveries. They just haven't, the batters just have not been able to cope with that, have not been able to get in front of that ball.
Or tell you what, the win for me in this tournament, regardless of who comes out on top, is the fact that we've had an under-19 side and an under-23 side.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic.
It's pulled away.
And I think for me, that's just so valuable because you get these under-19 kids going up against more senior players and saying, oh, you know, maybe I am ready for a higher level. Or even if you're not, you see what the difference is and you understand, okay, this is where I need to get to. And just that understanding, having that to go back to the nets and work on is so valuable.
A 36 for 2 at the end of 5. And I'm assuming that we're going to have a spinner come on for the first time for Brampton. Skipper, or correction, the wicket keeper's just asked for his helmet. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It gives you that confidence as a junior, doesn't it? And it makes you feel like you belong in that pathway. And for a long time, we have, in the past, had an under-23 division or an under-23 setup, and then we got rid of it. So what's happened is there's been this big gap where you've got players coming up the system, they play their under-13s, 15s, under-19s, and then there's no under-23. So there's a gap in whether I still belong part of the senior setup or where am I? And a lot of time we lose players because that under-23s is missing.
No question about it.
Well, he's fallen over trying to sweep that. Anup Ravi. Not
That was
the most
about as-
convincing of running either.
No, that was about as laborious a sweep shot as I've seen, and just as laborious with the running between the wickets.
Well, I tell you what, if you're Toronto, you're going to have to pick up your socks. Just not good enough out there. They've looked lethargic. Down the track, reaching for that ball. Smart bowling as well. He pulled his length back. He saw the batter coming. Better running.
I was just going to say, well done to get the second there.
I think they heard us.
But even the little things for the under-19s, if they come into this situation and, you know, they're able to look at someone who's played for the national team like Rayan Patan, who's gone to a T20 World Cup, and you're looking at the little details like, oh, how's he prepping for the crease? And
Well, this is a boundary and an important one for Toronto. Down the track, using his feet, going through the extra cover region. And it's a misfield as well, which helps their case.
They're going to need a bit of that. Returning the favor from the first innings.
This is better.
Just the one.
Sorry, you were talking about Ryan.
And yeah, and so these under 19 players, if you come in, you see someone who's played at the international level and are just watching his preparation and how they go about their business and just come to understand certain details that you feel that can help you in your game. It's little details like that that you take home with you.
It's part of the learning experience, isn't it? One delivery to come in the over. Can he finish quietly here, Praveen Kumar? Oh, he does. Just that, just a single to end the over.
Risky run there. And again, you see some of that pressure. 46 for 2 after 6 overs. That was the last ball of the power play. And realistically, you were probably targeting at least 50 in those first 6. You've lost a couple of wickets. And so now you're faced with that challenge where you're in the middle overs and you've got to keep scoring at a high rate. Again, with this outfield, you're better off going over the ropes than along the ground. And so that's the challenge. Do they have enough big hits in them to make this a contest?
Prabjot Sangha continues. Bowling figure is decent. 1 for 6 so far. Down the track. We've seen a little bit of this today, haven't we? Toronto impatient. Even though there's pace, they want to go down the track. They want to take the ball on the full.
At least now you'll pick up the single with the field spread, but with this chase, singles are not going to be good enough.
You can see the tactic may work. Like maybe try and get the bowler to be in two minds of where they want to pitch the ball. Try and mess them up on their line, the length. He goes really well this well, trying to get inside the line of the ball. And he's picked that up beautifully. 6 runs. A convincing shot from Bhagwan Singh.
And you see a stronger base with a shot like that. And you look at the majority of the 6s that were hit in the first innings, you didn't really see anyone come down the pitch. You know, we saw the slog sweeps. We saw the lofted shots over cover, over long off. And you saw Praveen Kumar in particular just maintain that strong base. And there, that time, you were able to see Bhagwan Singh do it. Use the pace, get himself 6.
He gives himself some room. This time, going down leg. He pulls it beautifully. It was a difficult chance as well. Short ball, played a little bit uncomfortably, but he picks up 2 runs.
8 runs off the first 2. That's exactly what you want if you're Toronto. And I think Bhagwan Singh knows that at this stage of the innings, he's got to go on to make a big score. If there's anyone that's going to play that Praveen Kumar innings, him having been there from the start, he's got the best shot to do so. .31 off 22 now for Bhagwan Singh. Tried to guide one there past the fielder at point, unable to do so. So we've got a dot.
Well, he's playing that Ryan Patan innings, isn't he? Up at the top. He's now moved on to 31. Ryan Patan, he wasn't able to capitalize on the start that he got. To be interesting to see if Bhagwan Singh can try and capitalize on that, because they may not have that big innings that we saw in Praveen Kumar.
And that's why I feel like Bhagwan Singh's got to be the man to do it. He's been there for a while.
Well, his first name's literally God, so let's see if he can pull off a miracle here. Be a single to end the over. 56 for 2 at the end of 7.
Keeps the strike. 32 off 24 now. And I think when you look at the way they're building this innings out and the runs there are still to get, Bhagwan Singh, you want to see him there for at least another 10 overs. And so it's going to take respecting the good balls, but absolutely putting away the ones that deserve to be put away.
And also doing those little things correctly, running between the wickets, avoiding the dot balls,
No
rotating the
question.
strike. Using his feet. Oh, and this is a big miss by the keeper. He should have taken that, and he should have taken up the wicket.
That's a big miss. That's a big miss.
This is the life that Toronto needed. Looking to use his feet down the track. Get to the pitch of the ball. Should have been stumped. Poor wicket keeping and frustration for the bowler.
And there's a nice sweep. They'll have to settle for the single. Thought about the second, but not to be. But Wasita here will be thinking about that missed stumping chance.
I know as a fielder, a mistake can stick with you through the whole game. You're going to keep thinking about it. But as a wicket keeper, how important is it to let it get out of your mind so you can focus on the next ball?
I think it's so important because as the keeper, at least the way I think about it, is you constantly have to be the voice of the team. And I think sometimes if you have your own mistake, you can start to get a little quiet. And that's where, sure, you maybe need your teammates to pick you up a bit.
Well, down the ground again, this time just pushing for that single. Sent back. This is really good stuff from Brampton.
And again, as the keeper, I think it can be a positive where if you're always the one encouraging, talking to the bowler, it can help you forget about it quicker by just getting back into, hey, great ball, we'll get him next time.
Well, if I was a bowler, I'd say, you know what? You should have taken that. You just cost me a wicket.
You're not wrong. And I just say you're good enough to get him again.
If you do your job correctly behind the stumps. No, it's a difficult one. Wicket keepers are constantly being tested. It's going to be 2 runs. This might be tight. There's an appeal. Umpire thinks he is safe home. Just the 2 runs to end the over. 60 comes up, 2 wickets down at the end of 8 overs.
And again, we talked about the value of good running. Putting some pressure on the fielder there. Rayan Patan tried to get the throw in time, but wasn't to be. 60, you want to, as the batting side now, you want to get that target, that remaining target under 100. Still 117 to get in 72 balls. Once you get it under 100, you start to feel like, okay, what are the terms here? What are we looking at? If you can keep these 8 wickets in hand for another 4 or 5 overs, might have.
That required run rate, almost 10 runs and over now.
But you know, you think about T20 cricket these days, even if you come down to an equation that's 11, 12 and over off the final 4, you feel like you can do it. And so
Especially if you've got the wickets in hand, which Toronto does.
exactly. And so you don't want to get too carried away with the required run rate right now. Obviously, you don't want it to get to 12s and 13s, but I think as of right now, these two are looking okay at the crease, and so you just want to keep building up this momentum, start to create a bit of doubt, maybe a bit of panic for the bowling side, and then you get a few more loose deliveries to hit. You find the ropes, and the momentum shifts once again.
We're going to see a change in the bowling. Sahib Malhotra comes in with the ball. Some leg spin action. And they start with a single. I mean, as much as they want to try and keep rotating the strike, I just don't think that the singles are going to cut it at this point. They're going to have to try and pick up a couple of boundaries at some point. At least one boundary and over. It keeps that run rate, required run rate in check.
And especially if you can find the ropes early in the over, it just eases that pressure for the remainder of the over and creates that pressure on the bowler.
But it's still not thick enough.
And
Turns.
that's what can't happen. When
Just
you get a
taking-
loose ball like that, you can't come away with 0.
Got away beautifully from the batter. Coming down the track, he goes straight down. It just doesn't have the distance. There's a fielder getting under it, and he makes an absolute meal of it. And he
That's-
survives. How important is that catch going to be? We've seen some sloppy fielding today.
And that's devastating as a bowler, as a leggy. You induce the false shot, you get the top edge, he's got all the time in the world to come under it, and he just spills it.
Well, completely losing his shape there, Anubravi. The timing isn't there. He feels the pressure. He knows he's got to go for it. And you just sense there might be another wicket coming here. You can see the impatience in the batters.
And he's the captain, you know, he desperately wants that trophy. Sometimes the harder you try to hold on to something, the more easily it slips away.
Well, he's used his feet well. Just be the single this time, but what he has done well is he's been able to come down the track and make sure he connects.
This is looking like a pretty good over here so far from Sahib Malhotra.
Well, that's a short ball. It's cut away. It should just be the single, though. 65 for 2 at the end of 9.
And they will take an over like that all day, will Brampton. At this stage, with Toronto up against it, having to do all the chasing, 10.18 now, the required run rate, going at 7.22. They've got to find a way to at least bump that into the 8s and keep themselves in this chase. Maybe a little bit of this drinks break will
Well, this
force
is
a rethink.
interesting, isn't it? Because there's a drinks break coming up in 1 over. Maybe a message being sent out to the 2 batters.
A necessary message, you would think. Because 5 coming off that over is not going to cut it.
What would your message be? If you were the coach of the team, you're in a position where you're a couple of wickets down, the runs aren't coming as well as you'd like them. What's the message?
Well, I think there's been a bit too much of defaulting to just coming straight down the pitch. And I think I'd suggest using the crease a bit more laterally. And we saw that in the first innings as well, shifting across the stumps, back and forth. And I think that's maybe a bit more what they've got to think about doing. Every time they've tried to do something fancy, it's just been coming down the pitch and trying to hit the ball as hard as they can.
This is pulled well. But again, it just brings them the single. A few dot balls, a few singles. Pressure continues to build. That required rate now almost 11.
And that's where you look at the look at the way the field is set up. If you're able to just flick that, not go all the way through with the shot, maybe there's a chance to even pick up 2 instead of 1. But again, it goes back to that almost wanting to hit the ball too hard, feeling that target of 176 and feeling like every ball has to go.
Well, he's picked a gap, and he's picked it well. Bhagwan Singh puts that down the ground. He picks up 4 runs, an all-important boundary.
See that Bhagwan Singh's momentum was really being slowed.
Just clearing that front leg as well, allowing for his hands to get through the ball.
And that takes him over a run a ball once again. And in a chase this big, run a ball is just not good enough. And there you go. Avoid the dot ball. Good ball, but you find a way to at least get a single off it.
Well, 7 runs so far off this over. They've got 1 more to come. They need to be going at a minimum of 10, if not 11 runs and over.
Well, at this stage, you know, you look at 7.32 being the run rate. If you can even go at 9s for a little while, even that will feel like you're breaking the momentum a little bit for the bowling side. And even that can force them to do something different. So I think that's where, you know, you start thinking about, oh no, we need to go at 11, 12 now, and you put too much pressure on yourself.
Swept. 1 bounce to Ryan Patan. It's going to be a single to end the over. 73 for 2 at the end of 10. With that, there's also going to be a quick drinks break. We'll be back with you shortly. Welcome back. just finished a quick drinks break. Coming to you live from Brampton, Ontario. Central Championship Final. Brampton taking on Toronto. It's been an exciting game of cricket. 176 runs is what we saw from Brampton in the first innings. 177 to win for Toronto. And Toronto, they've struggled 73 for 2 at the halfway point, and that required run rate, unfortunately, just keeps climbing.
They're struggling to match that explosiveness that we saw in the first innings, whether it was the fireworks from Rayan Patan, and then later with Parveen Kumar. Those big hits on this ground especially. Again, we've seen a lot of shots in this second innings along the ground. And that's pretty much what you want as the fielding side here. And unless we see them take the aerial route and be able to execute that, this game is going to continue to run away from Toronto.
The umpire trying to get the attention of our lovely scorer sitting to the left of us. And he's bowled! Well, that break-in play has just gotten through the concentration of Anup Ravi, and it is through the gates. Sahib Malhotra picks up another wicket, and this is a big one.
And you have to say, Sahib Malhotra is having quite a day for himself. Featured in that crucial partnership alongside Parveen Kumar that really turned the match around. Again, 80 odd for 5, and they're able to come together and stitch together a big partnership that guided them to that 176. And now he's come in, bowled a good first over, and now coming out of the break, wicket first ball.
A 73 for 3 at the end of 10.1.
Where do you go from here? Are you thinking, hey, it's a final. I'd rather lose by 50 plus going for it than maybe 25 just kind of trying to play out the 20 overs?
Well, listen, it's a final. You've got to try and go for the win.
It's pretty simple.
Got to go all the way for glory. We don't really have a way of getting a poll going for those of you watching this game in terms of who you think might come out on top of this game.
Well, I feel like most people will be thinking one way right now.
Oh dear, that is some poor fielding.
Yeah, not with fielding like that, though.
That's allowed for 2 runs, and frustrating if you're Sahib Malhotra, where you've just picked up a wicket. It's a new batter on strike. You've just allowed a freebie.
And it's Mihir Patel, the final over specialist.
Tell you he wasn't expecting to bowl.
Desperate times, desperate measures.
Sent back.
And again, Sahib keeping things tight.
Well, while Mihir Patel tries to find some timing out there, it is a beautiful day for cricket.
It is.
2 wonderful looking grounds.
Beyond the game itself, we've got a little cricket on the sidelines.
And that's another one. Trying to go down the track. Yet another batter using their feet to go down the track. Except you got to connect with the ball, which he doesn't. Good hands from the wicketkeeper, and that's another wicket.
As you mentioned, key part missing there, the contact. But this time the keeper takes care of business.
In good style as well.
Wasita here will be feeling good about that one. Obviously, you want to forget about the missed chances, and the way to do that is to get one back in your name.
Good confidence for him But Toronto, it's going all wrong for them. Toronto now 75 for 4. So one delivery to come in this over. They're in some trouble here, Toronto.
And this is where, again, you're faced with that tricky mindset where you're in a final, you don't want to come away almost feeling embarrassed. But it is a final. So go for it. But maybe go for it a bit differently. Again, as you said, we've seen batters come down the pitch over and over. And you look at the kids having a good time, playing some touch cricket. As the new batter, Anup Chima, comes out to the crease.
Well, the kids seem the least bit bothered by whatever's happening out in the middle. Their game of cricket.
I mean, that's the World Cup as far as they're concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. One tap, one bounce. What did you call it growing up?
One tap.
One tap.
Yeah. Not a bad batter at the in the side game. Yuvraj Samra.
Maybe they need some more constraints. But back to the action of this game. One delivery to come in the over. Saib Malhotra, what have you got? It's a dot ball to finish. 75 for 4 at the end of 11.
He's had nothing but brilliance all day. Excellent bowling. 2 for 7 now from his 2 overs. And he has really put the clamps on this Toronto side. Scoring looking very difficult. 75 for 4, 11 overs. And still a long, long way to go in this chase.
Oh, you see the directors in the picture there. Prem Prasad on the left. Mohammed Sheikh to the right of him. Important people of Cricket Ontario.
Got Pushkar Joshi coming into the attack. Good time for a bowling change. Got a new batter. Apply some pressure. Not let the batters adjust. Get comfortable.
Left arm orthodox. They pick up 2 quick runs.
That's well done. Barring a couple of odd moments, the running between the wickets has actually not been too bad. But they'll probably feel they've had to do a bit too much running instead of just finding the ropes.
It's a tough day of cricket when you have to run.
Always.
Quicker delivery.
It's better
It's a
than a
good
walk
change-up.
back to the pavilion, though.
Well, that's a walk. No one ever runs back to the pavilion. Down the ground. It'll just be a single. Unfortunately, they just haven't been able to find the middle of the bat, Toronto, today.
And again, just unable to find the ropes whenever they've gone for the big hits outside of a few moments. It just has not happened for them.
My walk backs to the pavilion, the slowest ever.
Were they?
I mean, who wants to be out?
Were you like one of those grumpy walkers, like ready to slam the gloves, ready to slam the bat?
Only if I was run out.
Mm.
Because again, I mean, come on, it's a run out.
I'm sure your batting partner got an earful whenever
Well,
they
there's a
came back.
shout looking for a reverse sweep. Looked like he was outside the line as well. Sorry to cut you off there, Vivek.
Your batting partners get an earful whenever they came back after a run out?
No, I think my expression said it all.
Okay.
Very expressive like that. You seem like a very calm cricketer when you played.
I learned to become calm. think once you have a few too many frustrated moments,
Just got to learn to
you
let
realize
it
it's
off.
not worth it.
Oh, but it is worth it. Looking for the reverse again. This time he gets the bat on it. Just can't get it past the fielder. It's the end of 12. 81 for 4.
Anup Chima trying to bring out the reverse sweep. Trying to do something different. I'll take it. It's an alternate to coming down the wicket each time. Just got to find a little better execution to evade the fielder. That required run rate now at 12.
Well, they're digging themselves in a deeper hole with every dot ball. And the singles just can't cut it at this point.
It's not going to get any easier. Sahib Malhotra back for his 3rd over. Again, 2 for 7 off his 2 overs. Another dot.
Well, let's look at the positives. It's been a good tournament. We've seen sides or league teams from all over Ontario. We've seen some youngsters in the under-23s and the under-19s. We've seen decent cricket as well on good facilities. Short delivery. The pickup, yet another single. Regardless of Toronto struggling out there, to me, it's a win. It's a win for cricket and it's a win for development.
At the end of the day, they're going to have a lot of positives to take. At the end of the day, they've reached the final.
And not just that, but from a perspective of Ontario, you can now pick your best squad heading into the Nationals next week.
No question. All these players have had the opportunity to showcase their skills, and this Toronto team will know that this one performance doesn't define them, whether individually or as a team. And so even when they look back, they'll look at that first innings and think about how long they actually had the momentum in their favor. And that's something to learn from in terms of being able to carry that forward and maintain it the whole way in the final.
Got 2 deliveries to come in the over. It's a light breeze as well. So yeah, it's a hot day. It's 28 degrees. The sun's beating down. Not many clouds in the air, but this light breeze helps. You know, I'll tell you, sometimes I question myself now that I've stopped playing, how I actually feel it in these hot days. Oh, that's gone sky high. Not going to be an easy catch with a clear blue sky.
Put down.
I tell you what, these players are going to need to do at least a 1-hour fielding session at the end of this game. All of them.
At least a 1-hour one?
At least. The number of catches that we have seen go down in this one game, it's just not acceptable. Not at this level. This is a provincial, and it's a provincial final. These are supposed to be your best players.
But you know what? That takes nothing away from Sahib Malhotra's performance. Could have been another wicket for him. 2 for 10 now in his 2 for 11. I beg your pardon, in his 3 overs, and to go along with that important contribution with the bat. Those are kind of the X-factor performances that you need in a final. Obviously, we're going to be talking a lot about Parveen Kumar and his innings. But Sahib Malhotra's contributions have been invaluable today.
Pushkar Joshi comes into the attack. Started with a dot ball. They're trying to go big. Do they get the distance this time? Yes, they do. That's 6 runs and a much, much needed maximum. Toronto, they're trying. And you feel like they're trying to hold on to the very end.
And you can see Bhagwan Singh, helmet off, hat off.
Boy, goes again. This time it's along the ground. The outfield is slower, but they'll pick up 2 runs.
The chains are off, you'd think. You'd like to think at this stage.
Well, they need 13 runs and over from here on.
He's been there long enough. 38 balls he's faced now for his 43. And you'd like to think that at this point, it's go big or go home.
This is better bowling from Pushkar Joshi.
Ooh, there's a dive.
Cramping for room and nearly run out. How close was this? He might have been in comfortably in the end.
Took a little bit to get going, but then made it home.
It should just be a single. Required run rate now climbing to 13. 13 and a half, in fact.
That was a comfortable drive down to deep point.
Might be a couple here to finish the over. Easy 2 runs in the end. 97 for 4 at the end of 14.
Bhagwan Singh starting to feel the heat. In need of a drink. He's been out there for a long time. 46 off his 40. But he's got to do something special to change this equation. 13.33 now the run rate, and it just keeps getting higher and higher. And the current run rate has now dipped under 7.
Well, look, we're at the 14 over mark. We've got Anup Chima and Bhagwan Singh. Bhagwan Singh, he's looked good. He's 4 away from his half century. I think if they can hang on for about an over and a half and launch with him in mind, Bhagwan Singh, he's going to have to anchor this innings home. Reversing. Not very convincingly.
I think with Bhagwan Singh at this stage, he's been out there so long that the anchor role almost isn't good enough. And he's got to be the one that makes it count. Like, we look at the way Parveen Kumar's innings just took off. He's got to find a way to mimic that.
Well, there's some turn there. Also try to give himself a little too much room. Brampton's not going to be bothered by these singles or doubles. They've got no reason to be bothered by them.
No, not really.
And this is where they're in a good position. They've got their fielders in the right places in the deep.
And again, for the most part, they've been able to keep the ball on the ground. It's 6s that you need in T20 in general, but especially on this ground, where it doesn't really travel along the ground.
Again, just the one bounce, single. Got protection in long on, long off. Deep extra cover. Got a deep, fine leg. I think he's bold. That has been about the most quietest dismissal we have seen so far. He has just been bold. And not an ounce of a celebration from the keeper or the bowler. While Toronto, they lose yet another wicket.
And if you look at the keeper, he put the bail back on so quickly, it was hard to even know what happened.
Oh, he was ready for the next guy. Bring him on. We're ready for the next one.
They're ready to go home. They're ready to lift the trophy.
Well, Anup Shiba out. 6 runs off his 9 deliveries today. Never really got going, unfortunately. Bhagwan Singh now, he's going to have to wait for yet another batting partner. Tayyab Iqbal, the new man, joining him out in the middle. Well, it's not very convincing knowing that his total number of runs so far is 36 in 4 matches.
It's a lone battle Bhagwan Singh is fighting. You look at the scoreboard, just not enough support. And again, we go back to that first innings. Obviously, Parveen Kumar had the big score, but there were contributions that helped get it to 176. Tayyab Iqbal taking his guard now as Sahib Malhotra looks to continue his sensational day.
What does it tell you? If you were the batting side, you lose a wicket, and the other side does not celebrate at all at a wicket. What does that tell you? It's cut away. Well done by the fielder at point. To me, it says, my wicket's not even worth a celebration.
To me, it says another day at the office, another win coming up.
Say hi to Sammy boy.
They've been there, done that. They can start to taste that victory. They can start to picture themselves with the trophy.
Wow, the 2 biggest leagues go head to head. Toronto taking on Brampton in the final. Epic final, this. Coming down the track. He uses his feet, and it's a no ball. This is going to be a free hit.
Well, this should be interesting. Does Sahib go a little bit quicker in the air now? Get a bit more defensive? Obviously, he's mixed it up brilliantly today.
Well, for Toronto, the good thing is Bhagwan Singh's on strike for this no ball.
Does go
Oh.
quicker.
Quick delivery, that.
Smart bit of bowling there.
Can't say much on that batting card, unfortunately. Bhagwan Singh's still out there on 47. Never really had a batting partner to take him through. That required run rate, you'd feel now, is just out of reach. Almost 15 runs and over required.
Yeah, this has gotten, it feels very much beyond them at this stage. They haven't just been able to, they've had maybe a couple of overs where you wonder, hey, can they carry this momentum forward? But it just hasn't happened. And, I mean, that's where you got to give some credit to Brampton as well. They've been able to bounce back quickly. They haven't let the momentum get out of the hand at any stage.
They've just struggled to find that timing, haven't they? They've lost shape. They haven't been able to get in the right position. Tried to overhit it because they know they need the big shots.
It's all on Bhagwan Singh.
Well, if God can't do it, then nobody can. Pick up 2 runs.
Even the 2s are perfectly fine at this stage.
For Brampton.
Sharp work behind the stumps. No stumping, says the umpire, but well done by the keeper. He's bounced back nicely from the missed chance earlier. And that's what you want to see too. There's going to be mistakes at this level. How do you bounce back?
Well, that's high up in the air. There's a fielder getting under it. Does he have it? Does he have it? And again, this is just sloppy fielding. The bowlers just haven't gotten the support from their fielders. Does this go for 4 or for 6? We'll just wait for the signal.
Seemed like the fielder at long on misjudged it.
Well, that has helped Bhagwan Singh get his 50. 50 up for him, 53 off 46. Had a couple of chances as well. He's made the most of it.
could just see the fielder at long on come in, then go back. Didn't really have a good read on it. And before he knew it, it was behind him.
That's a single to end the over, 112 for 5 at the end of 16. Well, there is a lot of cricket action this summer. As soon as we finish this, we head into the Nationals for men. And the Women's National follows up. But before all of that, this Friday, Canada taking on the Netherlands. A very important game for them as well. They're 2 down in that series. Netherlands, Canada, USA. They play the ODIs and the T20Is. Of course, this is for the Cricket World.
The World Cup League 2. Qualifying, trying to qualify for that 2027 ODI World Cup. Still well positioned, 4 wins, 2 losses. Second in the table.
Calls for catch it. It should just be a 1 bounce. Pushkar Joshi comes into the attack with the ball. He's yet to pick up a wicket. But let's talk about you, Vivek. You were at the World Cup with the national side.
That is
What an
true.
experience that must have been.
That was surreal to be with the first Canada men's team to ever go to the T20 World Cup, to be part of that first ever win at the T20 World Cup over Ireland, a test playing side. As we see a 6.
Well, we see a 6 and we see yet another lazy attempt at the boundary. And thank God for Brampton that they've put the number of runs that they have on the board, because their fielding just hasn't helped them. Just a lazy effort.
Was going to be a tough one, but you would like to see more. Bhagwan Singh, we would like to see more hitting from him. 61 off 49 now. He's virtually carried his bat through. But that strike rate in a chase of 176, you'd hope for a few more big hits before this is over.
Oh, he tries to go big again. This time it's Iqbal. So your
But going
fondest
back-
memories of the World Cup?
Going back to that World Cup, yeah, I think being in the dugout as that match against the Irish was finishing up, Jeremy Gordon bowling that final over, and knowing that Canada was going to get over the line, and then the celebrations, the ecstasy of that win was such a special thing to be a part of, and kudos to the players for the effort that they put in. And you think about it, so close to going to the Super 8s too. You think about that first match against the US, could have gone a bit differently. Bit of luck having the game against India rained out to get the point there, but that's where you kind of look back. Okay, a couple points in either the match against the US or Pakistan, and could have been the Super 8s.
Well, 121 for 5 at the end of 17. You know, you mentioned that loss against the US, and that was a game that was ours to lose. Had the runs on the board. There was a couple of good innings from the 2 American batters. Aaron Jones, of course, had a big part in that. Would you rate the World Cup performance as average because of that game, or would you say that would you rate it as successful?
I think when you look at, I wouldn't look at just those fixtures alone in terms of measuring the success. And so when you look at the whole journey of qualifying for the first time and being able to go there and get your first win, you would have to say it was a success. And what that could potentially do for this country in terms of seeing cricket fans being able to see Canada in the T20 World Cup, cricket fans being able to see Canada win a game against a test-playing nation like Ireland. And that's where you learn at every level as well. And trying to defend that score against the US when the momentum was shifting, you know, not being able to pull it back those are things that the players will look back on and say, okay, this is what we could have done better. This is what we could have changed. You think about the game against Pakistan. Sure, on the scoreboard it might look like Pakistan chased it comfortably in the end, losing just the 3 wickets. But that run out of Nicholas Curtin, who was in such incredible form at the World Cup, if he doesn't get out in that moment, maybe Canada is able to put up another 25, 30 runs on the board, and the chase becomes that much more difficult. And those are the margins at that level. And just having the opportunity to play those teams and learn is what I think helps view the entire journey as a success.
Well, the last one was a tracer bullet through the hands of the bowler. Went like a bullet. No timing. No timing. Does it? Oh, this is going to be another drop catch. The dismal fielding continues for Brampton.
I mean, you would think with all these hits that have gone in the air and been dropped, they'd have further encouragement to keep putting it in the air. There's been so many shots along the ground, and on this ground, it's going to be very, very difficult to make it all the way to the fence along the ground.
It was just disappointing fielding. I mean, at this level, you cannot have substandards like this. This is
No.
just not good enough. That is going to be the end of the 18th over, though. 131 for 5. Of course, the new discussion in cricket now is the Olympics. Cricket in the Olympics. We're making a comeback. And I think it's a good one. It shocks me that cricket's not been in the Olympics this whole time.
Well, with all due respect, there's a few sports that I see in the Olympics and kind of just
Let us have it. Say it.
roll my eyes. We really have walking in the Olympics.
Which ones? Let's put you under pressure here.
We've got power walking in the Olympics. We've got breaking in the Olympics. And somehow cricket can't find a spot.
Breakdancing was only in the Paris Olympics.
Yeah. And so I think I feel like now they're trying to change it up a little bit and try to get more engagement, and it's more about that. Obviously, I love the most traditional of them where, obviously you love the sprints, the 100 meters, the 200 meters, long jump. All of that stuff is super enjoyable. But some of the sports you look at, I'm just like, really? Cricket can't make it?
You can't tell me you didn't enjoy the Aussie breakdancing.
That was entertaining for its own reasons, not for not for excellence.
Oh, he's bowled. And that stump's gone for a walk. Middle stump. What a picture for a pace bowler, that. Jaskaran Buttar comes back into the attack. He gets a breakthrough, gets a wicket.
You look at the replay here, and the way Buttar has come in all day, that pace has been a problem. And here, just not able to keep up. Looking for the big hit, looking to go into the onside. But it crashes into the middle stump.
And it's a big one. The important wicket.
Is it an important wicket at this stage?
Well, Bhagwan Singh, he tried his best. 66 off 54. He was the lone man standing. The lone man to get some runs on the board for Toronto.
He can be proud of his effort.
Sometimes you just feel like if it's not enough to bring your team over the line, then it's not quite good enough. Gurjot Gosal comes out in the middle. See, the thing with me in the Olympics is I am ecstatic to see cricket in the Olympics. I think it's one of those sports that should have been there a long time ago. The issue for me is that it's only 6 sides, the top 6 sides in the world. Well, the game has grown so much with the associates, the affiliates. It makes, for me personally, the growth of cricket in terms of the Olympics very limited because 6 teams does not summarize global cricket.
I think for them, it maybe comes down to having to make this comeback after so long, maybe just wanting to showcase the absolute best of the best but that's not necessarily what the Olympics is about. And presenting this opportunity to cricket, it should have been about the world.
It should have been a fair opportunity.
Exactly. And so it's sad that there will be a whole heap of countries that would love to participate and won't get the chance to do so. At the same time, just to have cricket there, I'll take it. And hopefully they can put on a show in 2028 that pushes the organizers to say, hey, we've got to have 12 teams, 16 teams, whatever it may be, come 2032, and then it keeps going beyond that.
I tell you what, I might come out of retirement if we got a chance at it. Because let's face it, who doesn't want to play in the Olympics?
I
It's
mean,
the greatest level of sport ever.
to just say you're an Olympian is a huge, huge honor.
I don't have any tattoos yet, but if I was an Olympian, I would get the rings.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool for sure.
You know who can say they're an Olympian? The Aussie breakdancer.
I mean, that was entertaining for sure, but not for the reasons you'd usually associate with the Olympics.
You know what's been very exciting for me as an addition? The rock climbing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a high intensity sport, and the pace at which they're climbing these walls,
And the core strength you need
incredible.
when you're hanging. And yeah, no, that it's definitely impressive. Again, the pace of Jaskar and Buttar proving too much for these Toronto batters.
Well, you'd have to feel it's all but curtains for Toronto.
Yes.
They just don't have the firepower. Need about 26 runs and over here.
But again, it's about the lessons you learn. And you look at their inability to cope with the pace today, struggles against the short pitch bowling. That's something they should look to take back and really look to improve upon.
Coming down the track. And it's a swing and a miss.
Add another one to the tally. Down the pitch, too.
I think we're being a bit harsh. But I will say it's probably a record of how many people we've seen chip down the wicket. A lot of batters have done it.
Mm-hmm. And I think they're just trying to build that momentum for themselves. But with this kind of pace, you've got to realize that the momentum's already there. And that you can just use the pace of the bowler.
Falls for catch it. And it's
Ooh, a direct,
a direct
hit.
hit.
Batter looks safely home, though.
Yeah, quick for the umpire to get in position for that as well.
Yeah, it's been a good day for the umpires. Not too much controversy.
Haven't had many LBW shouts either. It's a tough job, that, umpiring. You can never please everyone.
No. Impossible job.
Oh, and that stump has gone for a roll. Jaskar and Buttar, the pace just too much.
Look at the cartwheel. I miss those days, you know? I feel like back in the day we used to see the stumps cartwheel a lot more.
Well, either the batting's improved, which that's not been the case on this occasion. But that pace, pitched in the right length as well. Jaskar and Buttar gets his third wicket. Correction, his second wicket. And Toronto, they are now 7 down, 132 for 7. One delivery to come in this over.
It's about as good as a penultimate over gets. 1 run, 2 wickets, 1 ball to go.
But it's been an exciting day of cricket. beautiful sunshine. The breeze is beautiful. We're having a good summer.
It's been a great summer, especially for cricket. All the action you mentioned before. And it continues. Seven down. 7 balls to go. Does Toronto have another big hit in them?
Well, if they could score 40 runs and over from here on to get them over the line.
I'm just asking for one.
It's going to be the end of the over. 133 for 7 at the end of 19. 1 over to come. And that drop catch of Praveen Kumar is, you would have to feel, the turning point for Toronto.
No question about it. I think that's the one that they will look back on and wonder what if that catch was taken. And they have a couple of those to look back on. So that's where, you know, sometimes even in a final, obviously the margins are quite wide in this one, but you look at a catch like that and what it could have saved you in terms of the damage that was done thereafter. That's one moment. That's one moment, and that's all it takes.
Catches, very, very important, especially the youngsters who are watching. This is why you have to hold on to each and every one of. Brampton obviously dropped a few as well, but for them, they're lucky that they had the runs on the board.
No question. And you wonder if that was even playing on their minds a little bit. Getting maybe a little bit lackadaisical, knowing that, or feeling that the game was in hand.
Well, it comes down to this over before what we feel should be a win for Brampton.
6 legal deliveries away.
The singles and the doubles continue. We do have a post-match presentation ceremony as well, so please don't go far. A lot of awards to be given out from all of the games in this tournament so far.
And it's good to see that players will be recognized for their efforts. It's not just about this one match that, in this final that we've seen here.
Well, use of the feet again. It should just be the double.
There's been contributions throughout to make this tournament what it's been. Complete success, culminating in this final.
Well, that's gone up, high up in the air. Will it be taken? It is. A catch is finally held on.
That's the biggest drama we've had in the last couple overs.
Well, they're 8 down, Toronto. 136 for 8.
Straightforward catch. Expect to see those taken. And this time it is. Prabjot Sangha gets a wicket to his name.
Well, the celebration's just not been there. Brampton, you're letting us down. Where is the celebration?
They're saving their energy for once they lift the trophy.
Right. I thought you meant to say for the fielding session after the game.
Gurpal Sidhu, the new man at the crease, joining Kavya Nares.
Oh, this is cut away, and it's cut away well. Went for the short ball. And they pick up a boundary. We haven't seen many of those.
No.
And you'd think that it's going to be a little bit too late now, but it's still a boundary nonetheless.
That one raced away quite quickly. And again, flying off the edge of the bat, taking the momentum of the pace from the bowler. And that's probably something that they haven't done enough of in this innings.
Down the track, just for another dot ball. One delivery to come in this game, the final delivery.
Brampton players on the sidelines shaking hands, ready to invade the field. The celebrations are set to begin.
That's well bowled. It should just be the single. Oh, this is, well, they want to get that extra run in there. Good awareness. They pick up 2 to finish this game, this innings. And Toronto they fall well short, managing just 142 for 8 in their 20 overs. Brampton, they've won this game by 34 runs. And Praveen Kumar, hands down, the star performer for Brampton. 83 off 47 for him with the bat. Bowled beautifully as well. 4 overs, 31 runs. Didn't pick up a wicket, but he didn't need to. His bowlers supported him. It's handshakes all around. And Toronto will feel like they just let themselves down with that catch that was dropped when Praveen Kumar skied it in the air.
You look at hugs all around for the Brampton players. Toronto can be proud of their effort to reach the final. And they certainly had their moments in this match, but unable to hold on for long enough. And once the momentum shifted with that Praveen Kumar partnership alongside Sahib Malhotra, they could never quite get back into the contest. A little bit to learn from this one, but overall, a successful tournament for them. And a successful tournament all around.
Absolutely. Well, hang in there a little bit longer. For those of you who are joining us right now, we'll be back with you shortly with the post-match presentation. This is Manali Patel alongside Vivek Jacob, taking a short break. We'll be back momentarily.